What's up, good people? What's up, good people? Welcome to the show today. We will be joined momentarily, long overdue, by the one and only, the Roger Report. We will be joined by the Roger Report. Going to be covering an interesting topic, the idea, the notion, the concept of criticizing Black women for the actions that they're taking, but then at the same time acknowledging that we are under a system of white supremacy and that would make them oppressed. How can we logically justify criticizing oppressed women? Now, I have my particular views on that because I don't really do the whole we under a system of white supremacy, we oppress the white man, foot on our neck. I don't buy all of that. But I'm going to pick the brain of the Roger Report on this particular subject when I invite him on up. So strap on in. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, whether you're catching it after it's uploaded or you're catching it right now, live right now. Make sure you hit the like button as we get things started here today. I see a few people already making it in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Let's get ready to go. Let's get started. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. Welcome to the show. I haven't even formally sent the email to the guest of honor, the man of the hour, sending it right now as we speak. Dropping the StreamYard link there, Roger. If you're listening, you got the email. It's already been handed off to you. But what's up, everybody? What's up, good people? Welcome back. I took Friday off. Had my reasons, but yes, I am back. I am back here live on a Saturday. Some good things been going on. The last stream that I did, the last live stream and the last pre-recorded video that I did, well, second from last pre-recorded video that I did on the same topic, they both went more or less viral. Shout out to Obsidian on that live stream. He definitely killed it and knocked it out of the park on that one, and on the heels of the pre-recorded video that I made on the same topic about the Kendra G chick, call herself trying to challenge Kevin Samuels. There was a fatality. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun doing both of those, and they went viral and picked up a lot of subs. So I'm loving it right now. I'm loving it right now. So yeah. But anyway, the Mac the Trucker in the building says, "What's good?" Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things started. Dark Knight Mentality says, "Salute Bernard. Should be a great show with the Roger Report." Absolutely. He says, "BR, your camera keeps refocusing. If you see it, I see it." No, actually, I know that it's refocusing. You won't notice once Roger get up here. The camera was kind of out of focus, and I didn't feel like playing with it to try to tweak it to get it just right. So I just put it on the autofocus. But once Roger Report get up here, you won't be able to tell. But on my pre-recorders, I make sure that I got it set just right before the live show. Yeah, in the meantime, yeah, you will deal with a little shaky cam, a little refocusing cam. But you won't notice when Roger Report get up here because I'm gonna be zoomed all the way back. And it barely does it when but I don't need to worry about the technical stuff right now. But shout out to those that are in the building. R. Kelly changed that name. R. Kelly 91182 changed that name. But shout out to you. Thanks for coming on board. Pablo Freshco Bar in the building. Shout out to Pablo Freshco Bar. He says, "Do they criticize oppressed men?" Good question. However, if you concede the point that you're oppressed and they're oppressed, then they have the trump card counter argument. Okay, what are you doing to end this so-called oppression that you're in? Men who are oppressed need to fight to the death to end the oppression. So that's the problem that I know you don't make those whole oppressed arguments and white man got his foot on our neck. I know you don't do that, but in theory, and it's something I'm going to be talking to Roger Report about. In theory, if you accept the idea and the notion that we are some downtrodden, oppressed people, you flip it around and say, okay, we criticizing oppressed women, but they're criticizing oppressed men. But if we are some downtrodden, oppressed people with somebody else's foot on our neck, whose job is it to get the foot off of the neck? So it would fall back to men. But a lot of people put it to the point to where, yeah, y'all need to be ready to die. Go die in the streets. Go die in the streets in a battle against white supremacy. That's where a lot of people go with that. So we're going to be getting into all of that. We are going to be getting into all of that. The way I do it, I'm not even going to fully give my position right now because the Roger Report just made it into the building. So without further ado, let's welcome the guest of honor, the Roger Report in the building. What's going on?
Good morning, brother. How you doing today?
Good morning, man. Glad to have you here. Long overdue. So definitely glad to have you here. Glad to have a good conversation. I'm excited about it. One thing that I always do, a little corny question I got from O'Shea, but it's not that corny when I ask you this question, because a lot of people here I kind of know their history, but with you, for some reason, I don't. So yeah, give us, just as we ease into the topic, wait for some more people to make it on in. What's your backstory? How did you end up here in the Manosphere doing content? How did you find this space? Give us your Marvel origin story on how you ended up here.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say it's a super interesting story. Honestly, it's just that I was just taking a look at what was going on with Black folks in Black America. Decided that somebody should be doing something about the different narratives that's out here, all the stuff that's going against Black men. I like to see Black families do better. I know we have Black families do better. We'll have Black businesses do better. We'll be able to compete more with group economics. We won't necessarily have to be a permanent bottom class like plans of other people. So I just started doing content. I ended up hooking up with. Kev of Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and we started doing content. And I just started doing content. I ended up hooking up with Kev of Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and we started doing content. And I just started doing content. I ended up hooking up with Kev of Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and we started doing content. I ended up hooking up with Kev of Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and Donnie of You Ain't Shit for Watching, who changed his name to YAS for You. Uh, and I was talking to them, and I actually met them through Facebook. And Kev had a very big Facebook group, so I looked at what he was doing, and then we ended up just having some conversations, and he decided to do YouTube, and my friends have been pushing me for years to try to do it. So I just finally said, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna start saying things that need to be said, and at least if I die, can't nobody say nobody said it. And actually, we just happened to come across the Black Manosphere, so we didn't even know it was what it was. Now I had already heard of Angry Man from years ago, but I didn't pay attention to the Black Manosphere. I didn't understand it the way it was. Eventually, we ended up coming across Edward Anderson, and basically he was our introduction officially into the Black Manosphere. And once I saw what it was, I was like, okay, this is great. We got other brothers out here trying to get good work in. So for me, it is an honor to participate with the Black Manosphere, regardless of people who try to criticize.
Right on, right on. I agree with you with that, and I love what you said about Black families. I mean, we talk a lot of shit on this show, and we have some fun, but I do try to circle the conversation back to a lot of the problems that we see is from the lack of family structure. When we talk about building in Black America, building the Black community, you could talk about all of that, but the underrated aspect of building, I've been saying this for a while, the most underrated aspect of building is building people, the people that you build in the Black community. And by build, I mean build them from the ground up, from your household, from the womb of a woman who's on board with a man, and they're working together, and they're committed to each other, raising those kids. If that don't get corrected, then mostly everything else is pissing in the wind. So that's what it is. It's hard to fix the problems. Black men over here, Black women over there. But I, in no way, shape, or form, would tell Black men just go in the name of Blackness to go accept a bad deal with a woman that you ought not be with either. But well, real quick, how long ago was it that you found out about this space through Edward Anderson? About how long ago was that?
I think I started like November of 2018.
Okay.
It must have been. It's probably somewhere around. Guesstimate maybe June. By June of 2019, I was aware. I would think that I have to think of the time I actually ran across him. But yeah, probably by June of 2019, I had already ran across him.
Okay,
good brother. So shout out to Edward Anderson.
Right on, yeah, like Ed. Got to get Ed back on here. All right, well, so let's ease into this topic. How do I start this? One thing that the Black Manosphere does a lot, it does critique women, it does critique Black women. A part of what the Manosphere was created for is to deal with or address the social contract or lack thereof between men and women, or in the case of the Black Manosphere, it's between Black men and Black women. There are those who speak a lot about us being an oppressed class of people. Now, I have my criticisms of that thought process, and we may have some disagreement on that, but regardless of that part about how oppressed we are, the argument more or less goes, how can Black men, in good conscience, be criticizing the actions and behaviors of women while simultaneously acknowledging that we're oppressed under a system of white supremacy? Then how can you then go and criticize the women who are ultimately responding to captivity or oppression?
I mean, to me, that's pretty easy. If anyone believes that men are supposed to be the leaders, which is usually said anytime Black women get pushed into a bad corner. Well, if you believe that Black men are supposed to be the leaders, that means you got to be under their leadership, period, regardless of what your circumstances is. You could be on top of the world. You can be in the middle of different groups. You can be at the very bottom. But if you ever take a stance that Black men are supposed to lead, if they're supposed to go fix the problems, however you push the responsibility off the Black men, if you ever take that stance, you must now agree that you have to be under our leadership. And if you don't agree with that, then you basically just lying. Just that's what it come out to at the end of the day. You a liar, and you trying to get us to have sympathy for you and your lies. And I don't think no black man should pay attention that thoroughly to a liar.
But they saying, okay, the counter argument would then be, how can you then follow the lead? How's a woman expected to follow the lead of an oppressed man?
The same way women have done it since the world has been here. There's always been oppressed people. And guess what? To get out of oppression, you had to fight as a group. And you cannot successfully get out of oppression if one group of the people is backstabbing the other group of the people. So if you actually care about oppression, you be on your man's side. You can't be against your man yet claim that oppression is bad. The two cannot be together at the same time and in agreement, which again brings you back to you just a liar.
I like how you keep it short and sweet like that. So the whole we oppress and y'all need to be willing to die. Okay, let me just get you do acknowledge the oppression. To what extent do you acknowledge it?
I can definitely acknowledge oppression. I'm not saying people aren't impressed in any kind of way, shape, or form. But what I'm saying is, if you have a concern about being oppressed, yet you refuse to follow the man, you're lying that you even concerned about being oppressed. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you can always point out some form of oppression. You know what I'm saying? I give it that to sisters. But if you actually cared about it and you actually wanted something to change, that would bring you closer to your man, not further away from it.
Right. So what I would say to that is really what's going on is the oppression is minor at best. Because if they were truly oppressed, I think you're right. You're on to something. If they were truly oppressed, they would cling closer to their man because their man would be the only form of protection that they got. But the fact that they can roam free about the country and do what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it, that leads me to the conclusion that no, y'all are not oppressed. And that's what, so I come from a perspective of not even accepting the premise on the oppression argument altogether. That's where I'm at with it. But I cringe sometimes when black men start talking about how they're oppressed and the white man got his foot on their neck. And it's like it's almost like you're indirectly doing them a favor in the argument. Once you say that you're oppressed, they in their mind they're free to do whatever, however, because you're an oppressed, downtrodden man. Why would they follow that? That's ultimately the argument that they try to say. Before you speak on that, my man Sir Tice in the building says, speaking of short and sweet, Roger said something that sounds funny, but he was dead serious when he said black women are not good people. Hey, I've said that too on this show. I don't say it as bold and blunt, but hey, on one side, if I have a conversation with a chick and I asked the right questions and she revealed the right things, I have to draw the conclusion that yeah, you're not a good person. But thank you for the super chat, Sir Tice.
You know
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I didn't even know that was such a revolutionary thought when I first said it, you know, and I said it again and I say it again because my thing is that's just what it is. You know, I didn't know it was revolutionary, but I guess it is.
Yeah. Some people don't like it to be put that bold and that blunt. King Camo in here says oppression of black women is not being the beauty standard and being criticized of their dysfunction. Yeah, I agree with that. When they talk about protection, I think the thing that they most likely that they mostly need protection from or want protection from, they want protection from criticism. They want to be able to do what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it without being criticized for it. And that's ultimately their pushback against the manosphere, is that they're being criticized for their actions. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree. And like when you say oppression, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I acknowledge white supremacy exists. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist. And at the end of the day, in America, things are group against group anyway. So everybody's got their group and they're pro their group, except our particular group as a group of people, we don't seem to be smart enough to notice that everybody else got a group that's doing something to working on their own best interest. Yes, you can work on your individual best interest, but people also make some concessions for the group. We seem to be the only group of people in this country that ain't smart enough to just make concessions for our group. So somebody's gonna always be winning the race. It's a capitalist country. Somebody's gonna be winning. At the end of the day, you can argue the oppression stuff, but the thing is, well, what we gonna sit around and be oppressed and don't do nothing? How do you come out from under oppression if you really feel you're being oppressed? That means you do something about it. So, as a woman, to say that she believes that we are oppressed, and then to go against the man that's gonna help her get out from under oppression. I mean, when you think about those two things together, to me, I hear completely stupid arguments. It sounds like idiotic to me. I feel oppressed, therefore I'm gonna work against the only man that's gonna try to help bring me out from under oppression. It sounds incredibly stupid to me.
Yeah, I like how you pointed it out, how you put it, and I put it this way all the time. How you said we're ultimately losing the race. Now, and from my perspective, the way I see it, I don't think that there's necessarily a forceful collective foot on the neck. It's just like you said, groups are going to compete against groups. Groups are going to go out there and do what they do. There's going to be data to show that, okay, X number of white people graduate from college with a bachelor's degree. X number of Asian kids score this particular score on the SAT. It's gonna be, the employment rate for Hispanic or Latino men is here. The employment rate for for Black men is here. The average income for Black men is here. The average income for Hispanic or Latino man is here. It's going to be. We're going to, for lack of a better way to describe it, identity politics it, and identity politic it, and just look at things from demographics and break down different things. So it more so amounts to, yes, the losing of a race. So we're in a race and we're losing in a lot of categories, put it like that. But I don't view it as the full-blown forceful foot on the neck. I just think we need to do better, and one of the ways we do better is family and bringing it together. And then that goes back to as you said, the liars from the non-good people, the liars essentially. Hold on, I'm sorry. Liars essentially, ultimately saying that no, it doesn't need to come together. The families don't need to be worked out. None of that matters because oppression, white supremacy. So your position is that yes, white supremacy exists, but a lot of Black women in these discussions use it as an excuse to continue doing to not do what it is that they know they probably need to do, and they try to create some larger thing that men need to do. Ultimately, I mean, I've listened in on some streams from Black women where ultimately, yeah, we need to go bear arms and die in the street to fight against it. Short of us doing that, then they're free to do whatever the hell that they want to do.
Well, I mean, they do that, but my thing is this: they're gonna say white supremacy exists. They're gonna say they're being oppressed. I'll grant you all that, but the more I grant you along those lines, is the more you need to be at my side as a man. If you agree that somebody is attacking us, then you need to be on my side or behind me so I can protect you however you see it. So the more you make that case, just means you need to be doing what I'm telling you even more. If we weren't being oppressed, then it would make sense that you go out and do whatever you want to do and not worry about it. Why? Because ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you. But if we are an oppressed people, then you need my protection because you don't know what's gonna happen to you at any given point in time. So every time they make that case, which is fine for them to make, everybody can believe in what they want to believe in. But to say that it's a reason for you not to follow me means you're a complete idiot. You can't take idiot out of that equation if you think I'm being oppressed. And the one group of people that may help me get out from under here, I ain't gonna listen to that group of people. That sounds like a complete idiot to me. Mm-hmm. So they can have that argument, but you sound like an idiot.
Right on. The Mac the Trucker in the building says, salute Bernard and Roger Report. Shout out to Demac the Trucker. Appreciate the super chat. Mr. Tobert in the building. He said, yes, this collaboration happened. Yeah, been a long time coming. When you had mentioned us being oppressed, I was asking you a question and I started rambling. Do you think it's really that simple of it's just a matter of we in a foot race and we're at the present moment not winning the foot race, or do you think it's full-blown oppressive, as O'Shea always jokingly say, the white man got his foot on my neck, all of that? Do you go that far with the whole oppression thing?
No, I think black folks have been trained to be in a more of a self-check mode. I would say that, because I mean, yeah, we have dealt with white supremacy, because white supremacy is just a mindset. Now, how you can carry out the mindset is different than simply you having the mindset. Oppression means, you know, there's a certain level of evidence that you're being oppressed. You can see when people were getting lynched. You could see slavery. You could see churches being blown up and things like that. So I don't look at white supremacy as oppression, because oppression is an act. Supremacy or white supremacist mindset is just how you think as a person. So I don't see us being oppressed the way they claim they were being oppressed, and I definitely don't see them being oppressed the way they claim that they are. I don't see that. But then my thing is, if we are being oppressed, why shouldn't we be fighting a little bit hard? That means it makes more sense for us to be together and be on the same side. So if I grant you the argument, at the end of the day, if you're not on my side, and I'm just saying men, not just me, but men and with men of the black community versus women, if you're not on our side and you honestly believe we're oppressed, either you cool with the oppressor, so you like the oppressor, which means you're a traitor, or you just blowing smoke and you a liar and you don't even care that we oppress.
You might have said it right there when you said either you cool with the oppressor, that might be it right there. That's the end of the show right there. They cool with the oppressor. I'd be trying not to talk about too much personal stuff, but I just recently had a conversation with someone that I know. I'll just put it like that. It was so funny that, well, something happened, and it was a black woman. She was doing something very Karen like, and so I just jokingly just like, okay, Karen, I go, you know, she was making a big deal about nothing. So I jokingly called her Karen. Now, when I talked to this person the other day, called herself giving me a speech about Karens calling the police on black men and black men being shot and killed in the streets and all of that stuff. Now, this same black woman, I know her. I know that she's been that same person on the other end of that phone calling the police on a black man for no reason. So when you said that, yeah, they like the oppressor, even though I don't go there, I don't say it, that I like the distinction you made between oppression and the mindset of white supremacy. I do like, we're going to talk about that a little more, but when you talk about them, if we go in there and using the term oppressor, about them liking or loving or enjoying the oppressor, that yes, they a lot of them like to have that at their disposal, that weapon in their toolbox that they're allegedly oppressed by. Many of them like to use it. So that's where they like just really get on some bullshit.
Well, I mean, if they really viewed it as oppression, it would seem to me that you want to get away from it rather than participate with it. That's what it would seem like to me. Now, I'm not genius like that, but that's just the way
they freely use it. Enthusiastically sometimes, but then we'll turn around and put their fist in the air about black men getting shot by the police, but we'll still call the police for no damn reason. Now, if you're in some true serious danger, by all means call the police. And I do like to point out all the time, I live near Detroit. We have a over 60% black police force, so chances are it's a black man showing up to protect you when you call that police. That's one thing that like to point out to people around here when I have these discussions in real life if they start talking about the white man. Anyway, that's another side note. But Snuggles in the building. I've been begging him to change that name. I don't know if he come to your channel, but that name Snuggles. I've been begging him to change it, but I've sort of embraced it at this point. But Snuggles in the building with the super chat. Snuggles 668 says, "I'm happy to see you gentlemen have a conversation. I enjoy seeing people with different perspectives in how they deal. Very interesting. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Oh, yes, Shaka Nulu. Thank you very much. Make sure that y'all are periodically spamming out the chat room with the Roger Reports YouTube channel. You got multiple channels, if I understand that correctly, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think I may only be subscribed to one. So people, y'all can, if y'all subscribe to all his many channels, yeah, drop them in there.
I'll say this. The main channel now is the Roger Report Live. I'm on the Roger Report until about mid-April, and I have the Roger Report 3 because now I just got 2 backup channels. So the Roger Report Live has become the main channel. The Roger Report is now a backup channel, which I'm streaming live on till mid-April, and the Roger Report 3 is there just in case I have any more problems.
Why you say streaming live on until mid-April? What's the big deal? Oh, you get another channel back. Another channel gets permitted to go live again after April.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I'm lucky. I haven't experienced none of that. Losing channels, losing monetization, losing the ability to go live. I do have a backup channel that I never promote that I need to start promoting and dropping some content on there every now and then. But yeah, now that's scary, man. Because I like my channel over here. I lose this, I'll be pretty damn pissed. They do something to this. So yeah, I do need to start getting my backup plans fine-tuned and ready to go. Shout out to Information Man in the building. I saw you down there. Y'all can throw some questions out here to the Roger Report. I definitely like his take and perspective. Yeah, we have some agreement on some things. I heard you talk about white supremacy before, and I make the mistake of thinking when people say white supremacy that they all mean the same thing. I like how you put it that it's more of a mindset, because yeah, that's so that let me know we don't have as much disagreement as I thought we probably did on that one. But Dark Knight Mentality in here said it's kind of what the breakdown of Woman Protective does with their titles. They make a statement that's false on his face and then spend 2 hours arguing and debate said false statement. I didn't know what you was gonna say right there. I thought you had something interesting to say, but yeah, they're known for that. We Kill Dragons in the building. He says Black women want to be free and independent, both from the sexism of Black men and the racism of white men. Black women want to date Black men on their gynocratic terms and not on the terms is Black man. Interesting point. What do you think about how he worded that or how he put that there?
I mean, it's an interesting point, but from a general concept, I don't think Black women want to be a free white man in any regard.
You said they don't want to be free of white men in any regard.
Not that I can tell.
Not general. And this is where they talk out of both sides of their mouth, because again, they love a good Black Lives Matter rally. They love a good we being oppressed and we need to be brought up and we need this benefit or that benefit or this or that. But that's why I struggle to understand them sometimes.
Not me. It all makes sense to me. To my understanding, the white guy came up with Black Lives Matter, so therefore, Black women were down with it. What are Black women not down when white people do something? You know what I'm saying?
Time out. You said a white guy came up with it. I thought 3 Black lesbians made it up.
to my understanding, they are the face of it, but I'm not gonna say that they came up with it. To my understanding, it was a white guy that came up with it. But I'm not gonna drop no names and cause no ruckus. But to my understanding, a white guy came up with it, and he put those three as the face of it. Now that could be true, could not be true. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, when Black Lives Matter started, and I was about to donate some money to them, and I went and checked them out. I saw right on the website, and I guess they felt like niggas ain't gonna read. But right at the beginning of the website, it just clearly said that we are for black women. We're for lesbians, gays, transsexuals, children. It basically named every particular every part of the black community except black men. So I knew they wasn't for me. So if something is anti-black man, why wouldn't black women be excited about it?
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. That's wild. That's wild. I think we did a good job once that came out. I don't know who was the first person that reported on that, but I know the Black Manosphere went ham when we got it in our hands that they were pretty much anti-black male, pretty much anti-black family, which means you're for you're anti-traditional black family, which means you're for everything that ultimately leads to young black men engaging in the activities that lead to them end up getting shot either by the police or somebody else. Mm-hmm. So is that always blows me away. But you sound like you just numb to it. Don't nothing blow you away at this point. My mind,
I am.
Yeah, my mind. This stuff still make my head hurt sometimes when I just look at the contradiction and when with the woman that I know personally, who I know personally, have called the police on some black men for no reason, but then was ranting and raving about black men being shot by the police. I was like, it make my head hurt thinking about that. But Fast Attack Tough 688I in the building. He says, shout out to Roger and long live the habitual line steppers. Right now we got 100, as I can see it on my tablet, 193 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Let's get those likes up. Get the likes up. We should be definitely over 100. We're gonna open this thing up probably in another 20 minutes or so. Excuse me. We should definitely be over 100 on the likes. Let's get that bumped on up. Let's let people know we in here. Because sometimes I do Saturday shows, sometimes I don't. So I know some people didn't know that I was coming on live. Let's hit the like button, get it in the algorithm, get the big crowd in here, get the big crowd back in here. But yeah, damn it, I do this all the time where I just completely brain fart and forget my next question. I had a good one for you. Then it slipped my mind. But Mills Hale in the building says BLM has changed their mission statement. Yes, that is true. They did switch it up after criticism, but once it's there, and once we see it, it's no turning back. It's no turning back. BLM has changed their mission statement, but it still basically says they are pro LGBT, absolutely, and pro black woman. They don't care about nuclear families. Let's talk about that for a minute as we can segue into that, because there's some people in this space who take the position that leave these women alone at every level, use them for recreation if need be. But me and you are in agreement that the problems of the black community, we know the outcomes. We know the outcomes of black people who are born into situations where it's two parents committed to each other working together. We know how that works. It's some data. It was older data. It was like 10 years ago. So I don't even know if this data is still current. I gotta keep saying I'm gonna re-look that up. But it was some data that suggests that it's even better being born black in America into a marriage, a two-parent household, than it is to be born white in America to a white baby mama. So clearly, if you care about better outcomes for black people, clearly black families is something that you do need to generally see as a good thing. But some people are to the point where the state of things is just to the point to where it just needs to just separate. Black men go this way, black women go that way, and just let it be. Where you at on that one? Not even talking about the black women and the claim that they're oppressed, just from just the black male perspective on that. Where you at on that one?
You know what? It's hard for me to even see why that type of thing is confusing. Pretty much everybody agrees that black men should be raising their children. We say if children come from a 2-parent home, they have a chance of doing better. So people say that. Then you have people who say if a parent is if it's a single parent home and it's a father instead of a mother, the children are probably going to do better. The women who complain about black men not being there and not being fathers or whatever the case is, they say things would be better if the dad was around. When women explain their failures with their children, they say, well, I could have did a better job if fathers were around. So everybody seems to have an argument that fathers need to be there. So to me, it don't make sense that you just simply don't have a child where the father is going to be there. If we all agree that they're going to do better, if the research says they're going to do better with the father around, whether they're married or unmarried, and then the women who don't have a father around is complaining that the child would have did better if the dad would have been there. Well, we all seem to be in agreement that the father needs to be there just about. So to me, it don't make sense to have a family unless you plan on having a father there. And honestly, for me, if a father is there, you're a family. If it's just a mom, you're just a woman with kids. Unless you're a widow, I give you that. If you're a widow, fine. I'll even give a small room for divorced women who actually left because their husband cheated, which is not very many. A woman to leave because the husband cheated ain't much. I grant you that you broke the contract. The man broke the contract in that situation because he said he was going to give her fidelity and he didn't. But you actually got to leave when that happens. Most women ain't doing that. So, if we all in agreement pretty much that the father needs to be there, I don't even see why it's such a I don't even see why we see it as this huge dynamic. The people complain and say the dad needed to be there. The people who are in a good situation say it's great to have the father there. The people who are raised by single fathers say, my dad is my hero. The research says when the father is there, everything's good. So we all seem to be going in one direction when we really look at it. Yet we have rebellious women that want to have children without the fathers being there. So seeing that they're in this country and they have the freedom to do whatever they want, and no woman is forced to have a child that she doesn't want to have. No woman is even forced to have sex if she don't want to have it. If you are in a situation and you're not a widow, or you did not get divorced because your husband cheated on you, then you are just in rebellion to men. Period. You're in rebellion to the man that you had a baby with. And that's your own fault.
What do you think about that? A lot of people in this space have been saying, or some people have segmented it, but rather, talking, high value men or this or that. But when you talk about divorce, if the man cheated, some people have made the case of, it's not cheating if the man do it. A man can't cheat on a woman or this or that or blah, blah, blah. Just humor me on that one. What's your thoughts on that as far as the whole cheating thing? A lot of people have come out and said that it's a difference. It's only cheating when the women do it. Humor me on that one. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, realistically, cheating is cheating. You don't have to make a promise to a woman that you don't plan on keeping. I think the reason that men quote unquote cheat is because from a community standpoint, we've been trained to have a fear of women in that regard. I'm not saying we're scared of women generally, but in that regard, we're afraid to just tell a woman the truth. Just tell her what it is. I ain't got to cheat on you, but I can be with somebody else if I want to be with somebody else. And that's just what it is. And as a woman, you have to accept that. And to me, it only makes sense because the man is supposed to be the leader, protector, and provider. And at the end of the day, no matter what you really believe in, you must bow to the whim of the protector and provider. That doesn't mean he has to be an evil person, but you have to bow to the whim of the protector and provider. Even if you're a person like myself that believes in God, at the end of the day, all ultimate protection, ultimate protection and provision comes from God. Therefore, you got to accept what he says at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what, so however you believe in, whatever religion, however you walk as a person or whatever the case is, if the man has to be the protector and the provider, he can do what he want to do. Now, should he lie to a woman about it? I don't think he should. I think men just need to tell women how it is. If they can't accept it, they can just move on. They'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like they got a problem with men sleeping with other women anyway. I get them complaining about cheating, but they ain't got no problem with it.
Don't go there about how they. I don't think I'm hearing my voice coming through on your end, but don't even get me started on that. How they okay with being the side chick. They okay with that one, but yeah, they start, if you start, as you bring up polygyny, you bring up cheating in a relationship, all of that. Oh, that's with World War III. That's a major problem. But they like to engage in all kinds of debaucherous acts anyway.
I mean, they seem to be okay with being the main chick too. If they know the man's cheating, you know, they okay with being the main chick.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. Shout out to you. He says, I hate when I speak up about black men. I get called a pick me. Oh, this is a she. My fault. Nikita B. I hate when I speak up about black men. I get called a pick me. It is truly insane when a man speaks about black women. They are bashing black women. Thank you for your comment. Can't play. There you go. Carlton Banks III hit it right on the head. It says you can't play victim if she agrees. Someone actually came on my show and said that a woman actually said that. I asked a simple question. Why does it seem as if the same women who would be okay with being a chick on the side have a problem with being polygyny? Now, I said it's because in one situation there, if done correctly, there's some potential structure. There's some structure going on there if done correctly, but it's just chaos and dysfunction when it comes to, you know, just being just a random chick on the side. You get to still, you know, be doing what you want to do. Well, a woman came on my show and said, well, no, when you're the when the side chick, you get, emphasis on this word, you get to get viewed as the victim. But if you agree to be one of the women with that particular man, then people are going to look at you as weak. But you get to be the victim when you're the side chick. I was like, is that what it's really all about? Just making sure that people see you as a victim? Is like, that's just raising your hand proud and happy. I'm to be a victim to your own decisions. This stuff blows me away.
That blows me away that the side chick is the victim, because she the hoe in the situation. See, the main woman can the main woman can act like she didn't know the guy was cheating, so she not a hoe, because I'm just not sleeping with the guy knowing he's sleeping with other guys, and I mean sleeping with other women and all that. But the side chick is an automatic hoe. So how can the hoe be the victim?
Good stuff.
Yeah, that I don't know who said that, but she crazy.
I'll give you a couple guesses as to who came on here and said that. The name may or may not be on the screen, but I'm okay. The name may or may not be on the screen down there, but yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm saying we're gonna have to talk, but yeah. The side chick is the hoe. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? If a woman agrees to sleep with a man who's already with somebody else, you got to accept the fact that you the hoe, unless it's a agreed upon situation. And when you say side chick, to me that suggests or implies that the main chick don't know. You see what I'm saying? Now, if
Yeah.
it's just a situation where the guy's dealing with multiple women and the women are aware that he's dealing with multiple women, that's all fine and good. But if you on some sneaky stuff like I'm going to sleep with somebody else, some other woman's man, then automatically you're a hoe. That's just how I see that.
Mm-hmm. Right on, right on. We did get the likes over 100. We had 110. We got 240 people in here. Let's bump those likes up to 120. Let's bump those likes up to 120. But the main topic that we was on, we not quite at the hour mark, but the link is down in the chat on the main topic that we was on, criticizing women who are supposedly, allegedly oppressed. Is it wrong to criticize those that you believe are oppressed? If you believe that we're in a system of white supremacy, why are you criticizing the women that respond the way that they respond to the supposed oppression? I remember it was an episode of Spartacus that I saw, where the barbarians basically raided I don't even want to, well, that's a really small town, put it like that. They raided a really small town. They ultimately took it over. And then one of the women, you know, a night or two later, she was having sex against a brick wall with one of the biggest, strongest barbarians. And somebody thought she was being the R word, you know what word I'm talking about. They thought that's what was happening to her. And they came over, another woman came over there and that hit the guy in the head with something and tried to, you know, run him off or whatever. He went on and left and just said, screw it. But then the other woman turned around and was like, what are you doing? You know, like here we are, we're open and exposed. I'm making a deal with the only form of currency I have, you know, and in that situation, it more or less made sense. I got it right there. But here we are, all the way here, 2021, in a free, civilized, westernized, industrialized world, and they frame the argument in a way like it's just full captured, conquered, and they're in dire straits survival mode. And so anything that they're doing can't be criticized, because I think you would agree we can't criticize that woman having sex with that barbarian. That was who she was going to. She was trying to leverage her sex to get him to protect her. In other words, you can't.
Mean, it makes sense in those conditions.
Yeah, but my argument, and I think you are more or less in agreement with me, that we aren't in those conditions, and that's
not
where
that I can tell.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. We're not in those conditions, but if somebody believe we are more or less in those conditions, and you want to weigh in on this topic of criticizing the oppressed, criticizing oppressed women. The man is oppressed. He needs to go conquer the oppressors before he can say anything to the woman.
Oh, that's a very stupid thought. But I mean, people got a right to think stupid stuff, though. But you know that now I always say, and I'm pretty sure you would agree, you can always relate life to sports. To me, that sounds
I love
like
doing that.
Yeah, and I know you're a basketball coach, right?
Yeah. I coach.
Right.
I coach kids. Well, highest grade I coach was 6th grade. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's coaching regardless. So
yes, absolutely.
This sounds to me like that thought process sounds like a coach losing the game at halftime, going back with his team and saying, "Hey, we're losing," and instead of critiquing what they need to do in order to win, he just says, "You know what? Since we're losing, I'm not going to say anything." Which means you're going to go to the second half and keep doing the same thing. That's what that sounds like to me. Don't tell the people who want to win how to win, because we like where we are. So yeah, to say don't critique a woman who's being oppressed, yeah, that sounds like a complete idiotic type of thought to me. I don't know, you know, I know it's probably many women who have that type of thought process, but I just don't see how you can put something like that together and not come up with stupid. I don't see how you
Well,
can.
those talking points are very pervasive in this space. They're all over. People
Might be
people use
racist,
those
but
talking points all the time, male and female. Male and
well,
female.
I mean, stupidity is something you got to work for. That's what I personally believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe God made people stupid. I think you got to work for it. You know, and if you work that hard to go in that direction, you know, more power to you. You got a right to be that stupid. But to me, that just sounds like you telling your team not to make some changes at halftime. Because you know, screw this game. We don't want to win. I don't know how that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be disappointed. Ain't nobody trying to come up. I'm gonna be disappointed. Put the link in the chat and nobody's coming up. A little disappointed. Where's the challenger? No. But shout out to everybody that's in the building. Dark Knight Mentality says in that situation, someone's feeling gets involved and the whole thing blows up. By nature, that someone ends up being the woman. Yeah, I think you're referring to those situations where I don't know if you're talking about main chick, side chick type of situation, but I think that's probably part of the conversation that you were referring to. And yeah, that's one problem that women have to contend with their own nature. They tend to get emotional a little quicker, attached a little quicker, more endorphins or oxy, whatever the hell it's called, fire off through sex. So yeah, they can't readily deal with those situations as well. Allegedly, because some dudes be tripping too when it come to those situations. But go ahead. It was on. I don't know if you were about to say something.
I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal for women. I mean, if you're gonna be part of you know, men will call it the stable. You know what I'm saying? To be part of some man's stable, hey, I mean, you got a right to do it. And if he's doing something for you, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see you know, like especially the more wealthy men, and they got, you know, 4 and 5, 6 chicks, whatever the case is. I get it. I understand. I don't see a problem with it. And at the end of the day, a woman's still using what she can to get what she can get out of life. So I do understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I would do it or I wouldn't do it. You know, but I do at least get it. The only ones that look crazy to me is they do the same thing, and the guy don't have anything. Now those are the ones that look crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can understand the woman messing with the guy with the money and being part of his stable, but the ones who messing with the broke guy and being part of his stable, yeah, they look a little crazy.
Yeah,
You know, but if yeah, I'll just say, but if you don't want to follow the lead of a man, it makes sense to go to the guy that you feel cannot lead you. So I get that too. That's why I don't really see victims. I just see participants.
Oh yeah, all day. Are you married? I don't even know your situation. Are you married or what?
No, sir. I am single, no children.
Single, no children. You made it
Yes.
through. Have you ever been married?
No, sir. No, sir.
And how old are you?
I am 43.
43, single, no kids. That's made it through life this far. You no need to surrender right now. Keep charging forward.
No, it was nothing. It was nothing like that. I just never had a mindset in the family I come from. We just never had a mindset to have kids out of wedlock. That's just something or I'll say my brothers and sisters and myself. That's just something we not into that.
No, I'm definitely with you on that. But I take it you do want children. I mean, you talk about family a lot.
Oh yeah,
I so you do want children. So ultimately, you do want to be married.
I would love to be married. And had you asked me 20 years ago would I be married by now, I would have figured it would already happen at this point. But then you go out into the market. I know as a very young man, in my early 20s, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna marry me a sister. I'm gonna help be a part of the solution rather than be a part of the problem. You know, all the different propaganda and things like that were out there. But picking a sister is I just say they make it more difficult than what it needs to be. I'll say that. You know,
what's the closest you've come to that, to being married?
I mean, I've thought about it, and I told somebody, you know, we can get married at this certain point and things like that. I've never gone out to buy the ring. You know, so I have discussed it. I don't believe in having long relationships with women if you don't plan on marrying. To me, it's me being respectful to a woman. You know, because women have biological clocks. I understand their value is gonna drop, so you don't really want to play with their time. You know, I trust me. I've met women who I remember this really stupid woman. She told me she was with a dude for like 7 years and wasn't nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? But there was no plans of marriage, no plans of any real future and things like that. So I mean, I come across that type of thing, but I think that's kind of dumb for a woman to do. I get why a man can do it because it ain't gonna really affect him that much. But for me personally, I would not be with a woman for a long time if I'm not going to marry her. You know, and every girlfriend to me is an audition to be a wife. You either gonna make it or you're not.
There's a lot of failed auditions out there, I presume. A lot of
it's been enough, you know. Well, no, I mean, every woman ain't gonna make it to girlfriend status at the end of the day. You know, there's certain things that I have to have in place in order for things to be all right. You know, there's certain things I'm just not gonna come off of, and then there's a lot of women who just aren't trained to listen to a man in general. They don't like the whole concept of leadership. And my thing is that even if you are, because it's women that say, well, I'll listen to my man, but they totally against male leadership in every other aspect. I can't trust a woman like that.
Man, I've been saying that for the longest, and that's one of the arguments that take place in this space, or one of the counter arguments that that women have tried to make when men are pointing out how a lot of these women, black women, are combative, just uncooperative across the board, just bitchy. Even if it's just will just be casually disrespectful to men in general. Just rather it's somebody, you know, rather somebody online in one of these conversations, or you know, you even see the women that do that in real life. You know, they could be waiting in line somewhere and all of that. It's like the whole notion that, oh well, we're going to be respectful and act right and do this or blah 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 for the right man, for my man, for, you know, it's all I'm gonna go through a metamorphosis and turn into a Disney princess for my man. I'm like, no, you walking around hell on wheels 24/7. I don't even care. Listen, I don't care how rather is you just respect my masculinity, or I put it down in the bedroom, whatever the reason or excuse is. If you walk around like that 24/7, but you acting like you got some sense just when you around me, I don't want you. I don't want you. Even if I'm benefiting from the good side of you that you temporarily put on when you're around me. If that's your default, in how you act and how you treat men, or how you respect people in general, whether it's the guy serving you at a restaurant, or somebody serving you at a restaurant, or somebody taking your order, no. If that's how you act, if you even got the capacity to conduct yourself that way, I don't even care if you're acting right for me. I can't be with somebody if that's their default setting. It's always some BS.
I got something I want to say that too, but I want you to go ahead and read your super chats. You know, got to get your money, brother.
Right on. An antisocial socialite in the building with the $5 super chat says, black women being oppressed is part of the victim narrative and is a straw man deflection. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. You are who you are, player. You people usually don't change. Right on. Shout out to me. Don't be stealing my quotes, Thundercat. They only submit during sex. Real talk. That's what happened in those game discussions sometimes where somebody like, I don't got no problem getting women to submit. You only deal with women on a short-term basis. Yeah, we know they can be submissive while they bent over. That's easy. Can you deal with this chick for 3 years nonstop and see if she don't be hell on wheels? But anyway, go ahead. You was about to say something, and we got a contestant on The Price is Right coming up. But go ahead, say what was on your mind.
Well, I think when it comes down to it, should you trust a woman that respects you as a man, but shows a general disrespect to other men? My answer is no. She can't be trusted because she's gonna make certain moves that you, as the man, now she your woman, you gotta respond to these moves she makes. So when she's disrespectful to these other men, creating unnecessary hostile situation, and you know we're men. When men get into it with each other, somebody may die. You know what I'm saying? So that's my reality. I know a lot of people don't look at it way, oh, that's being extreme. Look, I'm from Chicago. You get into it with somebody might die. That's just the way it works. Okay. Not saying it's gonna happen all the time, but do I need a woman who I understand is disrespectful to other men in general, who will create hostile situations that I have to respond to because she mine? Nah, I can't trust her. I can't trust her.
Yeah, what he's saying right here is on point. He said at some point in time, her contempt will roll over to you. Whenever there's a situation where she feel it's more advantageous to turn that on you, then it will be turned on to you. Speaking of being from Chicago, well, shout out to the Swoovies. I'm gonna read that in a second. Speaking of being from Chicago, what do you think about the radio personality chick from Chicago? Name is Kendra G, not D, Kendra G. When in her conversation with Kevin Samuels, and I barely even covered this part, she had said that Kevin Samuels was talking about the man leading or following the lead of a man that she actually qualified for. She was like, well, I really don't have a problem with the man leading. And Kevin Samuels so rightly said, what the hell you mean you don't have a problem with the man leading? That's like the tight end saying, well, I really don't have a problem with the quarterback throwing the ball. Like, what the fuck? He's the quarterback. He's supposed to throw the damn ball. Which means you ain't got no problem with it. What's your thoughts on your fellow Chicagoan over there?
Okay,
your sisterin over there.
I'm gonna put it like this to not make it so personal to her, but she's already in a stage that I call the UOF. Okay, the UOF is the 36-year-old woman that is unmarried and people are not pursuing for any type of marriage prospects. She is the unwanted old feminist. A lot of women, when they get to a certain age, regardless of success level, if you want marriage, this is something that should have been done by now. To me, if you as a woman, you want to be married, if you couldn't make that happen between 18 and 30, you already a loser at that point. Now, I'm not talking about what your level of success and from a financial standpoint, but you were put on earth to be with a man. If you can't figure out your own natural purpose, if you can't get that done, if you want to be with the man, if you are willing to be part of a family and you can't figure that out by 30 years old, you're a failure, period. And the issue with a lot of women who have failed, now that you're 30 years old, you're negotiating like a winner. And you don't even understand that you failed. When you lose, you're supposed to pull back. Like I said, I relate stuff to sports in a lot of cases. This is like a person who was averaging 25 points a game one season, had an injury. Next season, he come back averaging 7 points a game, but his contract is up. And now he going in there with the team talking about, I need a 20% raise, even though I'm not performing like I used to perform. Yeah, I know I was injured. We know it's not for sure that I'll ever be able to perform at that high level I used to perform at. We know that, especially if it's like an ACL injury or something like that. But I still want to negotiate for at least 20% higher and what I'm used to already getting. To me, that's a crazy concept. And that's what I see women doing. Owe and you want more. If you want more, you get it while you're young.
Yeah, it's. I love that you do the sports analogy. You see, I got the right there, the Larry O'Brien trophy back there behind me. DeMarcus Cousins is a good example of what you're talking about because he very recently, a few years ago, was averaging like 27 points, 11 rebounds. Those are world class numbers for a center. After he had that last ankle injury, he only get 1 year contracts for like the minimum until he can show, and he probably not going to show it again. But yeah, so basically, long story short, he was under contract. He was making like 25 million a year or something like that. He messed up his ankle, tore his ACL. I forgot exactly what the injury was. Then it happened at the worst time because he became a free agent right when that injury happened. The first team tried to give him a chance once he got past that point. I think the Lakers gave him a chance. I think they signed him for I don't know if it was the Warriors or the Lakers first. One of the teams, Golden State gave him a chance, signed him for like the $5 million, the veteran minimum. Lakers signed him for the veteran minimum. He was over in Houston for the veteran minimum. I don't even know if he's healthy right now. So it's like, yeah, he would be a damn fool trying to negotiate his previous contract pre-injury, pre the age that he is. So yeah, I'm definitely.
And let me say, I'm sorry. Well, let me say this too, since you did pause. I was gonna let you go, but this whole thing about freezing eggs, okay, too. And this ain't a personal shot to her. This is just me keeping it real. Who wants the old lady attached to the young eggs? Yeah, you may freeze your eggs when you are quote unquote younger, but you're still gonna be the old lady attached to those young eggs. Men are trying to avoid the old lady part. So what's the point in freezing eggs? You're still the old lady at the end of the day. Sure, maybe you can carry your pregnancy later on down the road. Maybe it'll work out for you. Good luck to any woman trying to do that. I honestly think it's just a waste of money. You got to start accepting reality at some point. So, and don't get me wrong, I know the ladies is successful and all that. I ain't trying to down her or anything like that. I'm not gonna say she ugly or whatever like that. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of guys who would get up with her. But at the end of the day, she made it to 41. The guy who wants to marry her, she already blew past him. She blew past him already. It probably was years ago too. Maybe I'm sure it's at least a whole decade ago, if not two. You know what I'm saying? But so many guys that want to marry her, but she just blew it.
Yeah.
And I'll put it to you like this: women have their own mindset about how they view a man. If the only men that were interested in you deem them a loser because you won't marry them, that means only losers are interested in you. You need to start accepting your reality. You shouldn't make it to 30 years old if you want to get married, and nobody did it. Not as a woman.
Mm-hmm. The Swoopy is in the building with the super chat. He says, using that premise, black men are oppressed also, and we're always criticized and under scrutiny. I brought up the distinction with that earlier, but I'm not even trying to go back down that path. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. If we were I'll go ahead and just say very briefly before I pass it to Mr. Z. If we were truly oppressed in the way that they say that we're oppressed, then yeah, it would be the job of men to go and die in a street in a war against the oppressor. So that's why you can't exactly make that argument. But me personally, I reject the premises of the whole system of white supremacy. Most of it is in the mind. That's where I'm at with it. But Mr. Z in the building says, let's go ahead to you. What did I say? Save combustion. Okay. Anyway, Mr. Z, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
What's going on, Bernard? I haven't been on here for a little while. What's going on, Raj? I'm over there. The other gentleman, I don't see his name, so I'll just say what's up to him.
That's the information man. You better put some spec on his name.
Okay, Mr. Information Man, what's going on? But yes, can you criticize oppressed women? Yes, you can. Anybody and everybody can be criticized. You can criticize the homeless person all the way up to Jeff Bezos, right? Everybody could get it. What does that mean exactly? I think this is women, particularly black women, trying to shelter themselves or guard themselves from the criticism because a lot of it is correct. You don't get to hide just because you're an oppressed person or you're a person that is going through some difficult times, that doesn't mean that you are clear from being criticized. Just like you're not clear from being judged. We're human beings. That's what we do. Right. So I disagree with you on the white supremacy oppression part. I just don't think that it matters. Honestly, I think that you'll still be criticized. You can be under a system of oppression and still be criticized because you can still be doing wrong. Right. You can still be going in the wrong direction, and I'll pause right there. But yeah, you can be criticized if even under a system of oppression, you can be oppressed and still be criticized for something that you're doing wrong. I disagree with this premise that if somebody's harming you, you still can't be criticized for something else. Your husband could be beating on you and you could go to work and your boss could talk crap because you're doing something wrong. Just because your husband's beating on you doesn't mean you're safe from criticisms, and I'll pause right there.
Got you. Roger, the Roger report, you could go ahead and respond to that. I think you're more or less in agreement with that. Only thing I'll say and respond to that. These are some of the most happy-go-lucky oppressed people in the history of humanity. But go ahead, Roger report. You can respond. You can respond to that if you want to, even though I think you're pretty much in agreement with it.
I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with it, but I'm gonna just throw this out here. If a woman is saying that men should not criticize women being oppressed, isn't the act of her saying that to a man basically giving a criticism to men that they just acknowledged was oppressed? So it's like you're doing the very thing that you're telling me not to do. You're criticizing me to say don't criticize, but I'm oppressed. If I'm oppressed like you oppressed, you can't criticize me about giving you criticism during oppression. Can't fit both of them at the same time in the same spot. So it sounds crazy to me.
Kill Deuce in the building with a super chat. He says, shout out to Bernie and Roger, the morning manosphere marriage-minded men making money moves. Say that 3 times. No, I'm not saying it 3 times. But anyway, information man in the building. Always love when info man comes up on the show. Welcome aboard. You got the floor, you got the mic.
Yeah. First of all, let me say a few things. I'm qualified, brother. I was married before 15 years, 51 years old, have a child. So I know a little bit of something about these dynamics. I do have a little bit of a problem with people who have a lot to say about these dynamics, but yet they've never had the experience. I've had the experience. Now, when you talk about women, we already know that women are not built like men. We always say, hey, as men, we're leaders, we're this and that. We use logic. Women think with their emotions. So therefore, why would we be surprised that when women do things and we criticize them, they become emotional about the criticism and don't want to take the criticism because they operate off of that emotional system. So if you understand that, then the reality, even if we don't like it as men, it's to be expected they're going to respond like that. Now, when people criticize men or black men or whoever, the larger society tells us, man, stop whining. Why are you complaining? You're a man, because that's how we've been culturally conditioned in this society, that men take the brunt of a burden. Right. When I was online, I was going through my fraternity. See, I know about brotherhood, brothers, because I'm a member of a brotherhood that has millions of black men, and we're doing shit. And we had a saying that there's a burden that you carry throughout life, which means you're going to be criticized, you're going to be this, you're going to be critiqued, but you keep moving onward and upward towards the goddamn light. Okay, so that's the burden that we as men have to deal with, even in the eyes of our own women who would call the police on us. Now, Bernard, you said that you don't believe in white supremacy, that it's just in the mind. You got to understand, brother, that white supremacy is a system, and it's a system that manifests in the mind. And when black women go after calling the police on us, they are actually reinforcing the very system upon us when they do that, because they have also brought into that system and they've been conditioned by that system, and they will run to the white man, whatever you want to call it, because let's quite be honest here. Black men, and it doesn't matter if it's a black cop too, because black cops will reinforce that because they got to follow the blue line. Let's just keep it real. black men in this society don't control policing. We don't control military, even though they'll put us on the front line and we'll die on the front line. We don't control any institutions in this society that control the mechanisms of how you're going to live every day in your life. So when they run to that system by calling the police on us for no damn reason, that system is designed to do what it was always meant to do, and that's to police us or to brutalize us and to put our ass in that industrial complex system called jail. And I know something about that very well. I see the numbers. Okay, it reinforces a system because policing and the system did come out of slave patrols. If you go back, you look at your history.
Okay, let me get some questions in.
Yes, sir.
Into you. Okay. When you talk about white supremacy and you say that calling the cops is her using white supremacy, okay,
it is a form of it.
Okay, that system is in that situation is two things. One, the system is an inanimate object like a gun. Somebody has to load the gun, cock it, point it at you, and shoot it. So I guess I have a hard time looking at it as the system of white supremacy, whereas even if black men were in some you look some police forces, the police chief is black and all of this is black, but I mean either way it goes, if black people it don't matter how high up black people are. Some people will say, oh, it doesn't matter that the people are black. Okay, the black people held every high up position. I still think that same black woman will still call the police and the police will show up and still do their job, and their biggest incentive or imperative in that situation would be protecting the woman, regardless of whether that man is white or wrong, and regardless of whether the men who show up are black or white. That's why I sometimes don't do I can't always go with y'all on the black or white thing. I don't say white supremacy just full blown doesn't exist. I just look at it like a race, and some people are like Asians are outperforming whites in some areas. I just look at it as a race that you're winning or losing.
You got to look at it. You got to use logic on this, brother. A black man or a black police chief, they're simply a caretaker of a system that they don't control. So even if you, just like, for example, when you've had black police chief, you've had black mayors and all this sort of stuff across the country, Baltimore, Oakland, where I lived at for a time, you still have a system that they're caretaking that they don't really control. So whether they arrest you as a black man because she called the police, you have to see, this is the reason why I have this position. And you brothers need to read and study and analyze history. Reason why I have this position, because you have to understand the history, the origins of policing, which was never designed originally to police the white community or white people in general. It was always designed to police us. When black people came out of slavery into Reconstruction, and we start seeing a large number of black men to the prison pipeline, which I know the system very well, and sometimes we don't want to deal with that. That is part of that. So yes, she can call a black man who's an officer, whoever, and the same results will happen. We'll go to jail, we'll be criticized. And we know this because it's just like I said in the beginning. We notice that women are a protective group. We know that we have a society that's culturally conditioned where when women do things that are fuckery, they're protected, whereas men, we are criticized for any and everything that we did. For example, I wonder if you had the Dexter Jackson situation, right? What if it was his woman, his wife, who was doing the cheating versus him being the faithful husband? I believe that especially the ladies, they would have come down, they would have been easy on her, and they probably would have than they have been on Derek Jackson. I think they would have been, they're hard on him, but they might have been more forgiving to the female, because once again, our society gives women a buyout quite a bit, and we as men, we get no buyout on anything that happens to us. So I agree with you. It's an unbalanced system, my brother.
Do you guys mind if I squeeze in here real quick? So I completely. Oh, go ahead, Bernard. Then you could read the. Because I think I'm a. Okay.
Oh, no,
I thought you said real quick. No, I thought you said real quick.
Oh, yeah, no. I was saying go ahead, but since you passed it back to me, Corey,
all right, damn it.
In the building, he says white supremacy is much like how you train an elephant. The chain has been removed. but still affects the beast. Thank you for the super chat.
You still have
Okay.
mental chains on your mind.
No,
We're not
but
in
so I
physical
wanted to
bondage,
address
but you
that
have mental chains. A lot of us do have mental chains.
I think it's bigger than mental chains. I'm super unpopular opinion. If we're gonna go there, let's go there. Full steam, right? I completely disagree with this opinion, right? A lot of brothers in this space, in the manosphere, in the black manosphere.
Brother, black men are
Go ahead.
beyond just this space. You know, there's
I
black
know,
men.
I
that
know,
are
I
out
know,
in the
no, no,
world,
I know,
and I actually live in the fucking
complete.
world where
No,
I've
no,
been
I'm
around
not
black men for
disagreeing
many
with you.
years.
I'm not disagreeing with
A
you.
lot
I'm
of
not
times people
disagreeing
be
with you.
keeping people
I'm not
take these
disagreeing
talking
with you.
points.
Hold
And you
on.
think that these talking points are just what's on here on social media, and you think
I
that
hear
it
you,
permeates the
brother.
whole community. There's a lot of black men who don't have this mindset.
I
They
agree
don't
with
deal
you.
with black women that
I agree with
they
you.
don't like. They just say fuck
No,
them,
no,
and I'm gonna deal with the women that I want. Let's talk
no,
about that reality.
no,
That's what
no.
this
I agree
space
with you.
talks
Because
about a lot. But
I
Yeah, I'm
understand,
going
man,
there
but
right now.
sometimes
You
I
just
can't.
didn't let me get to the period.
I can't
though.
cry, baby, man.
All right,
Time
then.
out, time out,
I
time out,
can't
time
cry,
out.
baby, all the damn time.
Info
And I never
man,
have.
info man,
Info man.
you're jumping down the throat of somebody who agree with you.
Thank
I
you. I'm like,
guarantee
All right,
you
all
even let me
right,
get to
all
the
right. I'm
period.
just getting, well, the motherfucker should have known my name when he caught on here.
Right.
See, that's what it
even
is.
brother, I gotta
I'm
get
just
to the
messing with
period.
you.
You got
Go ahead, get. I'm chill. I'm chill. I'm
It's all
chill. I'm
coming
chill.
out. It's all
I'm
coming
chill.
out. He,
I'm just messing with you, man.
well, talk about guns earlier. This nigga just jumped up with the fucking AK. I got a fucking pocket knife.
I'll stop it.
Goddamn.
I'll stop. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not letting women off the hook. They've been doing a lot of fuckery.
You
Oh
know,
no.
but
I don't want anybody to
what
think
I
I'm
was
letting women off
saying
the hook.
is a lot of brothers want to think they can rugged individual tough man their way out of a system, right?
Okay.
You can't individual rugged man, and that's why I preface my statement
agree
by
with
saying unpopular opinion. A
Mhm.
lot of brothers think they talk about white supremacy as a figment of our imaginations, as
Mhm.
something that doesn't exist anymore. You know, a lot of brothers bring up the Asian community as an example. Meanwhile, the Asian community is having their own issues, and they're talking about these glass ceilings that they're bumping up against, and all of your corporations in America. They're talking about who in the East Asian community gets to move up, and it's usually the white rear end ass kissers, right? So a lot of brothers, y'all don't know Asians. Y'all do not have Asian friends and associates. Y'all don't. And that's why y'all think, oh, they got everything fine and dandy over there. And why are they making it if there's a white supremacy? Stop
Well,
using just
I
the
live-
Koreans, the Japanese, and the
Yeah.
Chinese as an example. Y'all need to have larger conversations with those people to see what's really going on in that community over there. Number one. Number two, talking about white supremacy and black women using those tools against us. I do not think if we're going to talk about a social and racial hierarchy, black women are put ahead of black men because they're not seen as a threat in the space. Nobody's afraid of black women wanting to pipe the white secretary, right? Nobody's afraid of black women outside of their attitudinal disposition in these spaces, and those things are weaponized to protect said corporations, right? That's why oftentimes the HR lady, me and Roger talks about this all the time. The HR lady is a black woman, right? Because everybody knows that she's going to be the guard for that institution, for that space, right? So that's all I want to say. White supremacy does exist. And I think brothers like to play it down often because, you know, my little pride, I don't want to say that this things exist because then that would make me feel weak. No, nigga, it exists. Stop it. You know,
but it doesn't mean, and I think Bernard would appreciate what I'm about to say here. It doesn't mean that you have a defeatist attitude and you don't go out and get it and try to be successful. We look, as black men, as a people, we've always had barriers, but that doesn't mean that you need to make that as an excuse to not get out there and be successful and do what you have to do. You still got to get out there and bust your ass and do what you got to do. Bottom line, because other groups are doing it. You said Asians. Well, I lived in San Francisco for years. You can't get any more international city than that. Despite that, Asians still do what they got to do to get out there and get it, even when they may be getting hit with something that we don't know about. So
okay, but
no, I agree with that.
Make that point about getting out there and getting it, and more people need to do it, and more people do that, then that bare minimum shrinks white supremacy, and from my perspective, it shows that it's not the overarching bully that you think it is. If all you got to do is work hard to beat it.
Well, it doesn't mean that although you work hard that you don't look. For myself, I've worked hard all my life and I have confronted these issues, and I've had to still say, you know what? I'm still not going to let it stop me. I'll have to make a detour this way. I'll have to go over it. I'll have to break through it. That's what black men have been doing since most of us on this panel, we're not even alive. So I'm not saying that let's all be a defeatist. No. And I do know, look, we know that this whole situation was set up. This is how they destroyed the black family. They propped the black women up, right, in business and opportunities. We're seeing right now where you have businesses that are going to give black women a certain amount of money, right, that they're bypassing black men. That tells you right there what's going on, brother. It's always to segregate us, right?
All right, we gotta throw it back to Roger Report, the guest of honor. I don't know if he wanted to jump in on this, but real quick, Snuggles in the building. He says, well, let me read these super chats. Snuggles in the building says, what would Jesus tell you and our men polygamist by nature? I don't know what you mean by what Jesus, are men polygamist by nature. I don't think mammals. Oh my God. I did a whole show on that.
I think it's natural for us to have men.
We're not naturally monogamous. Monogamy is a social construct, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad social construct. It's good and bad with it, but it doesn't mean that just because it's not natural, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's a lot of things that are natural that are good, a lot of things that are natural that are bad. So a good idea could be unnatural, you know. Two people committing to each other to raise productive kids in a modern world, that may not be natural for mammals, but it's still a good idea. So that's where I'm at with it. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Pretty soon we're getting to a point where you don't know if you can even call somebody a man or a woman anymore. You see how crazy society's getting, Brother Bernard?
Right. Charles Gilmore III in the building. He says, nothing is fair, nothing. Compete. Cheat if you have to. Stop complaining. Work with people who work with you. Play to win. Stop being a mental loser. Get therapy. I understand, but I do not empathize. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
All right, Charles Gilmore.
Thank you for Roger Report. You was trying to get in. Go ahead, you got it.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say it like this. See, at the end of the day, like I said, white supremacy is the mindset, oppression is the act. You can be a white supremacist and never actually call the police on anybody. Oppression is the act of calling the police so a person can physically be oppressed. Now, at the end of the day, as black men, we already know nobody's going to afford us an excuse anyway. We just got to go make it happen, period. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Regardless of your decision, whether it's a good decision, bad decision, if you choose wrong as a black man, you just got to work twice as hard to get past what you chose wrong, because you still got to get it right at the end of the day. So I don't think black men are going to complain that the system is holding me back. I really don't see black men complaining that the system is holding me back. Now, we all know from a certain aspect, you can get to a certain point and then the system will do something against you. But sometimes it's just that people got to look at it a certain way too. If I'm running a Fortune 500 company, you think the people in the best positions aren't going to be black? Of course they're going to be black. You go into any business, usually if it's a business, who do you see working there? You're gonna see the person who started, their brother, their sister, their wife, niece, nephew. It's gonna be a bunch of relatives or friends of that particular person. That's how the game goes. So if black people have an issue with oppression and black people have a issue with white supremacy, then we should be working together. It's just that simple to me. So that's why I say when ladies claim this whole thing about white supremacy, well, that means you know more reasons why you need to be at your man's side. Period. You can't say that white supremacy exists or oppression exists, yet fight against being on your man's side, because the only real solution to that is working together to beat their group. Period.
Good stuff. We got Black Uru in the building. I'm gonna pass it to you, but real quick, the swoobiest in the building with another super chat. Appreciate you. You got a wrench? Yeah, you need a wrench. Thank you for your support, man. You've been dropping them super chats. Appreciate you. Black folks that say they don't believe in white supremacy aren't aware of history. Well, I acknowledge that I acknowledge the history. Let me just say that to put it briefly. You don't have to believe in it, That's like saying you don't believe in gravity. Okay, here we go. He says it's just us being black in America have to move with precision. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that.
Let me ask Brother Rogers something. You made a good point, brother. You said that black women need to see that we have to work together as a team. That's the difference that I've seen. I've talked about this on my show, that when you look at white men and white women, the problem is that they work as a team in tandem. The white woman will do everything that will benefit the white man when she's in a partnership. Whereas when it comes to black women and black men, some of us, because I don't like to always do a blanket on everybody, but some of us don't work. We don't work as a team in harmony. We're out of balance with each other. And because of that being out of balance, we can never get on the same page. And then we can always expect that some of our women will call the police on us, and they will tap into the system that they feel most confident in, because they know that when they tap into that system will unite against us to arrest us or what have you. The problem is, when you look at black people in a larger sense, are we as a community in a larger sense, and I don't like to generalize here because there's different types of black communities, but in the larger sense, are we as a people working together as a team, man, woman, child, in our best interest? Because if you look at most cultures, the women, the children, they grow up into a system where they see the man as lead. They see that there's a penalty to be paid for stepping out of that code. Whereas within the black community, there is no penalty for getting out of that code. Therefore, there is no fear. There's no fear.
With white people, what's the penalty for a woman getting out of that code?
If I may posit something real quick.
Can anyone answer that question, or?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Black. Go ahead.
If you're a white woman and you marry a white man and a black man and have his children, you're probably going to suffer some degree of ostracization from white people, depending on where you are. Obviously, some communities are more liberal than others, but you're not going to be able to reintegrate or fully reintegrate into white society and all the benefits that accrue to that. So your opportunities, certainly with higher profile white men, more successful or productive white men, have probably been greatly neutralized, if not eliminated, especially once those men know, that you've not only been with black men, but you procreated with them. So, I mean, there can in many ways be a social damage sustained from stepping out of the purview of white men, economic damage that could extend beyond just you, but future generations of your children.
Right.
So a white woman can definitely be damaged by coming out under the leadership and the purview of white men.
Right.
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, if white women grow up, or women in certain cultures grow up, and they see that there is a penalty for stepping out of line, then they're more likely to stay within line, and they know that there's a benefit that they get from that system maintaining itself. If black society is not working together in unity, and there's things that's fractured within our society, then black women and black men, there is no incentive to keep that system going for us, because they don't see the benefit for themselves, because they see the benefit that the larger society will give them, right? Benefits that they get that we don't get as black men. So therefore, when that black woman calls the police on you to get you locked up,
well,
what incentive does she have to say, hey, I should do this?
Okay, what I see more or less is white women, they got the same freedom, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness to do what they want when they want. They can go and get the job at the cubicle and work in the air-conditioned cubicle and make enough money to take care of themselves and go be wild out and do whatever they want to do. I think it's a lot simpler. I think that they just at a higher percentage rate just see the benefit of whatever regular Joe white dude that they qualify for. It's a good idea to get on board with him. Most of them are working in their, most of white women are working in their marriages. So it's not like getting on board with a white man means that they get to wake up and sip lemonade on a patio somewhere under an umbrella. They just understand. They understand the long-term results that's going to be better for them, better for the family, better for their children, and better for just the overall. They just understand that. But I don't think it's just some ultimate benefit that they're getting, because they got all the same tools to be strong, independent, and not need no man either. So I don't even think that they're being offered that damn much.
They're increasingly taking those options, though. They're increasingly that in child out of wedlock birth rate is increasing with white women. They're increasingly taking those options. So yes, black women are way ahead of the curve on this social degradation and completely torpedoing the nuclear family, right? But white women are slowly catching up, and Latina women are not too far behind black women in this respect, right?
Well,
so
the reason why
let me say this one more thing. I've said it to Roger before. I've said it to Black Uber before. Black American ADOS are the most American Americans in America. So these other groups are slowly following behind with a lot of the social degradation. I would say that we are 20 years ahead of everybody when it comes to all the negative shit. Don't worry, they coming too. Unless you address the system, ain't no saving this.
Yeah. Well, white women are deciding or making decisions to have kids without men in the family, because they go out sometimes and get artificially, and all that kind of stuff. They'll go out and say, hey, I want to have a child, but I don't really want the man around, so let me just go get some sperm. White women have been doing that for a long time. So when you talk about what black women have been doing, that other groups are catching up with us, with white women, they've been doing that for a long time, where they've been choosing to have a child the artificial way without a man being involved necessarily. But they still recognize the fact that white men are in control of the society. So at some point, they do need to step in line, even with all their feminism that they talk about. See, the problem with black women is that they've been tagging behind white women's feminism, thinking that they're going to get the same benefits that white women have gotten out of this system, and it hasn't worked for them. It hasn't. Other than the welfare system, which is doing what? Causing more damage to our community, to these poor communities, that is.
One more thing to add. If what we're saying is true, then somebody got to explain to me why American-born Asian women marry outside their race at 54%. If they got it all together, then why aren't they staying with Asian men when Asian men make more per capita than anybody else in the country? If what y'all saying about this rugged individual, do your own thing, level up, be the best man you can be thing is true and accurate, then you got to explain to me why these Asian women is marrying these white dudes, even though they Asian man make more than the average white dude. And I'll pause right there.
I can tell you that, but it's kind of controversial. I mean,
go ahead, Bernard. It's your show, bro. Go ahead.
Asian men are everything that I'm about to say is statistically proven. They're the shortest, lowest muscle mass, lowest testosterone, smallest penis man walking the earth. So the only thing they got going on is the brain power. They're good at math, which translates into good jobs that make a lot of money. Thus, they're making more money than white men. But somebody summed it up a lot easier and a lot less controversial. Said they're the least masculine man on the planet. So that has a lot to do with damn it, somebody said something that just threw me off. I wanted to say hopefully it'll come back to me.
White men as more masculine, and they see them as more superior, and they see them as being in control. Another thing I've heard too, because
that was it. You said white women understand that white men run society, so they need to get on board with the white men. Okay, how does white men being the majority of the lawmakers, how does that translate to benefit for the white woman who qualifies for a white construction worker? How does white men being the majority of the lawmakers, how does that help her? The white guy she qualifies for is a white guy making 50, 60K with a mustard stain on his t-shirt working construction. How does Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders' decisions in the Senate affect? Well, Joe Biden's president now, but you know what I'm saying. How does that help her? Let me finish my question. How does that help her be on board and act in a way that's conducive for a happy, healthy, functioning, flourishing relationship more? Just because there's a lot of white. Most of the senators are white. I don't get that one.
Well, because that keeps her in the white world. you know, once she steps outside the white world, and especially if she steps into, you know, with a black man,
that's
the
different.
view.
That's different. I understand that you mess
How
with
does
a
it-
black dude and white dudes don't want to fuck you no more. I
Well-
get that, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about.
Bernard, it's benefiting them because one, white women are the biggest. It's a dual threat here. White women are benefiting from the civil rights movement, the whole equal opportunity for employment. White women have been the biggest beneficiaries of the civil rights laws in this country. They also benefit from what do we have going on in the society right now? This whole issue about
Hold on,
economic equality.
Everything you're saying
Economic
is all the more reason for her not to get on board with the white construction worker that she qualified for.
This is where you're missing the. You said the lawmakers. She benefits because the lawmakers are putting things in law that was supposed to basically benefit us as black people.
Yep.
She's getting a benefit from it economically, which is boosting their household. Why do you think that white people have generational wealth and black people don't? Because white women are able to bring home a strong piece of the bacon because the white man has put things in law, mechanisms that she can benefit from. Because part of this feminist movement was the fact that white women want to be on par with white men and share in power. So the white man just throws her a couple of bones to make her think that she's in some kind of power when he really is controlling the buttons. At the end of the day, she's in a more power position over a black woman who's now chasing behind her tail, buying into the damn feminism, but not getting anything but these welfare benefits where the white woman still gets propped up in society, although the white man still pushes the button. Asian women buy into it too, because like you said, another issue too, you'll have Asian women that will say, well, you know, Asian men are not romantic. They're like robots, and we like the emotions and the romanticism of the white male. So also there's a sexual component to this thing. And you're right. They're not seen as sexual gods. They're not seen as masculine. And we already know this. Women respond to masculinity. And if Asian men if they're not marrying their own men, all of that plays into the ideology and the thought process and the energy that's out there flowing.
All right, do got to get caught up on these super chats. Shout out to Game Changer who just made it in the building. Snuggle668 in here. He says, "Are black men the apex by nature, and are they too silly for their own good not to have the ability to group together to become stronger? They need to work together. I don't know about the apex by nature. I do think there are things that different groups do better than others. I'm not about to get into that. We ain't going there. We ain't going there. That's a whole nother show. But yeah, black men need to work together a little bit more. And there are some things that we are the best at and should capitalize on it more." Dr. Thunder in the building says, "Paying my respect, looking forward to our interview." Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll be over on Dr. Thunder's channel. That's all the way out on the 14th. He's promoting it early. I'm with you. I will be promoting that. Going to be over on Dr. Thunder's channel coming up on the 14th. I don't know what time. It's some super chats that I may or may not have missed, but I caught that one right at the buzzer. It was just about to disappear. Corey Bentley in the building. He said, "There is always that potential nigga moment for competent men." Right on. E. Capone says, "True. Interesting show." Absolutely. Always try to bring it on an interesting show. Silent Lamont, I'm about to put your name in lights as soon as I get a chance. About to put your name in lights, Silent Lamont. Snuggle668 in the building says, "It's refreshing to see people not yelling at each other, and I can understand the differences in the conversation." Absolutely. Who else we got in here? We Kill Dragons, aka Truth As I Know It in the building, says, "Can you discuss the fact that black women look at separation from black men as freedom?" Yes, we did recently hear some women call it oppression. They've written for 60 years that motherhood and marriage is oppression, and they recently reiterated that in a few conversations on the internet. Corey Bentley back in here again. He says, "White femmies opened the Pandora door, but black women rushed in head first. We diluted
Probably they
into
were
these-
deluded.
Yeah, they were deluded into these actions, but why? Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate everybody who came through on the super chat end. We got 300 people in the building, 184 on the likes. Yeah, keep hitting that like button if you're here and you haven't hit the like button already. We about to go to Game Changer, but real quick, I got a couple new Patreons because a lot of the live shows, this one included, may very well go right to Patreon.
Let me say something, Bernard, because you guys silent down there saying something. Let me just put this to the fact. Dude, I know that black women have not gotten the best results when it comes to the voting, that all women have the so-called freedoms and what have you, and black women have gotten the worst result. I know that. I didn't need you to tell me that in the damn chat room. That's a fucking obvious thing. So come on now. God damn it. Black women have not gotten the best results because I've been saying this the whole show. They've gotten the little welfare perks and all of that. But overall, they really haven't gotten the best advantages that other groups had. I just sat up here and said a few minutes ago that white women have actually benefited very heavily by civil rights programs, probably damn near more so than black women. So don't sit up here and tell me that I'm not acknowledging that they haven't gotten the damn best results when it comes to voting in the political system, man. Shit, I talk about this on my damn show, my podcast, man.
The information, man. I wouldn't even say arguably. No, white women have benefited the most out of every group from affirmative action.
And I said that a long time ago.
Yeah, brother. I just want to take away.
Don't play with me, man. One thing about me, man. I study history. I'm learned in history. And I know that for a fact that black women, hell, black people, but black women in particular, they have not, with all the
all right. Well, can you all
that they go into?
Can you all enlighten me with respect to what have black women not gotten from the system that they have actually actively attempted to get?
That's a very interesting question.
Because I'm
just the white man
prepared to cite anything of any consequence that I have observed black women attempt to get, especially from the political system, that they appear to be getting. I mean, it looks to me that when I look at what's going on socially, what's going on in the government, now what's going on in business, it looks to me like they're getting a lot of what's going on with the not-for-profits.
Oh, okay, I hear
they're getting a lot of things that they want.
So,
but is what they're getting really bidding the overall community? See, is it really just about black women? For example, when and I'm sorry, Game Change, I know you want to get in. Let me just say this. Remember when Ice Cube had his contract with Black America, right? And that was for all black people, right? Black men and women. And then he got on there on what was that, Fox Soul or whatever the hell that dumb show is. And what happened? Vivica Fox
Queens
and all of them.
Cocktails.
The first thing they said is, "What about the black women?" It's like, God damn, he just said that it's for a contract for Black America. You damn black and you in America. But no, it was about women. Or when Obama had the Brother's Keeper, and then the women were saying, well, what about for the females? So they always do something to separate. They always engage in things. No, let me say this. Some black women engage in things that separate us when we don't need to be separating. When black men are not talking about separating, we're basically just saying this is going to benefit Black America, and then we still get criticized. You saw what happened to Ice Cube. It's a damn shame.
But information, man, they won. They got their contract from America from Goldman Sachs. They got their contract from America from Visa. They got their contract from America with Google. They're getting their contracts with America.
Yeah, they're getting their butter biscuits because they sat up there and kissed the ass of the Democratic Party at the tune of 93%, right?
Well, you know what? I think that black men just.
No, you got it. You got it. Go ahead.
Oh, see, we're going to have to face the fact that, and I know some people may be offended, but we just need to just face the fact that when it comes to the majority of black women, they are white supremacists. That's why they're cool with the system. That's why they're cool with calling the police on black men. That's why they're cool with whatever benefits the white people give to them because it's from them. If a white man gives a woman $1,000, she values it. If a black man gives a woman $1,000, she felt that it was owed to her. They value what white folks give them. You know what I'm saying? And when we look at the government from a regular, normal standpoint, we view I'm saying black people in general, we view the government as the white man because we look at it as a white man controlled system. Black women cool with that. They're absolutely fine with it from a general level. If you are lucky enough as a man to get one that's not like that and you can marry her and have a good life, my thing is shout out to you, brother. Congratulations. But most of them don't want that because they don't want black male leadership. They don't believe in you as a man that you should lead. Doesn't make a difference if you have the ability to lead. They don't think you should. And because they don't think you should, nothing you saying is really bothering them that kind of way. And all that's why they come with all that white supremacy talk. Y'all ain't did this. Every time it's something we didn't do, they just gonna come up with a new thing that you didn't do. So
you didn't do this,
when
you
have
do that.
people who operate, yeah, well, the thing is, okay, I get that we used to say y'all ain't good fathers. Now America done say y'all are good fathers. But now we got to move the goalpost to this. So every time you beat one thing, they're gonna have a new task for you. At the end of the day, you can't please an unsatisfied woman who doesn't want to be satisfied. When it comes to what white women are good versus what black women are getting, they get the benefits of a family structure, generational wealth, and everything that comes with it. We don't get it because our women ain't trying to participate in that. And if we as black men could just accept that they're not participating and actually start calling out their behavior in ways that matter. Why do you think I say a black woman is if she makes it to 30 years old and she ain't married, she'll lose it? Because that's what she is. But we won't say that because we care so much about their feelings that we won't call them out on stuff. If a woman has a baby by a man that she's not with, she's a rebellious woman. Why won't we say that? Because we too worried about her feelings. We so worried about how black women gonna feel about what we say, we don't even tell them what they need to do from a general standpoint. And I'm not putting that to anybody on the panel. I'm saying in general, when it comes to Black America, we've been trained to
when we were
silent.
kids, when we had our mothers, we didn't want to disappoint our mothers. So a lot of that is conditioning from being raised by our mothers, and we've always been taught when we were kids that you be respectful to women, you be gentlemen, and what have you. That's what our mothers tell us, and this stuff stays in our mind as we grow into adults, that we just don't want to disrespect the women, black women. We don't want to disappoint them and criticize them, and if we do, now there's hell for you to pay for your criticism.
All right, let's go.
Can I say one more small thing?
Yeah, well, we going to Game Changer next, no matter what. Go
to Game Changer.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and my thing is, even as black men, we need to get rid of that notion that black women are responding to you because of you. People are developed. They are a whole person. They have a character. People do exactly what they want to do. It ain't got nothing to do with you as a man on how a woman responds to you. I done seen Michael Jordan get divorced. I grew up in Chicago. He was the man here. And I seen a woman divorce him. You can't tell me what you're doing as a man has something to do with how they're going to treat you. She treated you exactly how she wanted to because she's a person with a right to make decisions. It is what it is. It has nothing to do with you. Men should throw away this notion that manhood comes from what some women thinks or what some women does. Manhood comes from your character and your accomplishment. It has zero to do with women. And women don't want that narrative out there, because if men accept the narrative that your manhood does not include them, we will move much differently.
Yep.
Right on. Good stuff. Good stuff. Go ahead, Game Changer. You got the floor. You got the mic. Pick it up at whatever prompted you to come up. I know the conversation moved away, but you go ahead and take it. Pick it up from wherever you want to. Go ahead. You got it.
It's really two things that I want to address. One was what Black Guru was asking, and that was in a nutshell, what haven't they got from the American government? I know why he asked it, and this isn't to go against that, but really what they want more than anything is a better deal when it comes to men. And that's what they haven't gotten from the federal government. Everything that they're doing was to, so put it like this. When a person gets in a relationship, they're always going to wonder, especially when they start young, could I have done better? You know, if I got with a third string quarterback, if I had waited, would I've gotten a first string? You know, women are going to think that, once again, especially when they hook up with somebody young and, you know, they're tied down. So they looked at feminism and the ability to work and support themselves for a period of time, as they could use that time to really explore their options. And what they found is that they have crappy options, and they actually were getting the best option for them in the past. So what they were looking for ultimately, they actually found out that they got worse, and that's one of the main reasons why they are upset, and they're still propositioning against it, and things like that. They're still welling against the machine. To answer that question, and Bernard, you were asking before. Why do something to the effect of why do white women do it? Why do they get married to the garbage man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a question that I ask all the time, because they say, "Oh, well, white men run society." Okay, that garbage man don't run shit but the trash. So,
right.
but she's getting on board with him. So that argument never really. That's not a satisfying argument to me to say. But go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, it's a valid question, and the reason for that is white women, and really most every other woman in the world, actually every other woman in the world besides black women, value marriage higher. So love, marriage, and a baby carriage, they want that. That has some value. If you were to put a not a constant but a variable to that, let's just call it X, and X has a numeric value, to them, marriage has X value, whether it's with a garbage man or a senator. Marriage still has value, besides the value of the man itself. To black women, through decades of conditioning, marriage has no value. It's zero. You replace X with zero, which means that the man has to make it valuable by being a off shirt nagaga, or being, by going to Wayne's gym, they have to.
Hold on, you said an off shirt nagaga. Okay, you're basically a dude who look good with his shirt off.
Exactly.
From going to Wayne's gym. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. He has to make it valuable in that way,
or make a lot of money. Then it's valuable. Yeah, it can't just be. This can't be normal.
Yeah, exactly. Being a six-figure guy marrying a average at best woman. See, this is his way of adding value to a marriage, which they haven't any. So take Miss Average at Best, for example. She sees no value in marriage by itself. Therefore, she will remain single until she finds a man that brings a value to the marriage. Now, that's unique, very unique, in Black American society, because most every other woman sees the marriage as a value, whether it's to a garbage man, like you were saying earlier, or, once again, whether it's to a senator. So that's why they marry garbage men, because a garbage man is better than no man. And to Black women, and no man is better than a garbage man.
I wanted to address
real quick. Snuggles 668 in the building. He says, to the men on the panel and the women in the chat, do women have the ability to think for themselves and know when something is not good for them?
No.
Oh wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Game changer. Can I ask you a question?
Well, Black Rule, I want to answer your question first.
Shout out to W. Alfonso real quick. Whoever it was, that first person that spoke after Game Changer got done, that's the person I'm passing it to right now. Whoever was the first one.
Because I want to answer Black Uru's question before he asks Game Changer the question. So Black Uru, I think Black women, what they really covet is the white woman's position in everybody's imagination. And I'm taking this outside of the Black community. I know we don't often do that, but you would even
say that again. They covet the white woman's position in everybody's
imagination.
Yes.
And when I say everyone,
I would correct that to say that they covet their fantasy.
You're right about that, because and I'm saying this for a reason. For all of us brothers that are from, or men, I said brothers, sorry, but all of the men that are from different backgrounds that might be listening to the Bernard Show, they'll tell you there's billboards of lightning skin cream in different countries, and it's a white woman. And so a lot of women covet the white woman's social and political position on this planet. Right. So I think that's what Black women really want. They want the white woman's position in our imaginations. That's what they want. They don't just want to be. They want to be Hillary Clinton. They want to be Melania Trump, right? They want to be name whatever it girl, whatever white woman was the it girl in the 90s and the early 2000s. That's the position they want. And if and black men can't give them that because we can't make them white, right? That's the position they want. And I'll pause right there. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Meghan Markle got married.
That kind of leads me to a related question to what Game Changer says, and that is it that black women do not covet or value marriage, or is it that because they do not covet or value marriage with black men? Because if the market of men, both garbage collector on up to, billionaire and all in between, of non-black men were openly available to black women, would they marry more? I'd say they would.
So, I mean, they would if this guy brings value to them. They still.
No, but what I'm saying is the white guy is going to bring value to them because he's white.
Well, yeah.
So a black man does not bring value. A black man does not bring value to her just because he's black.
Well, it depends on what she values. So once again, he has to bring value to it. Marriage by itself on a base level isn't valuable. If she values whiteness, and he's bringing that, then yeah, he is bringing value to her. And I know what you're getting at. You're getting at, this new wave in black women throwing themselves and taking unbalanced deals when it comes to relationships with white men. Even then, he's bringing a certain value to them, and that is pissing off the black men that didn't give her the original deal that she was seeking. So basically, they're blaming black men.
I mean, I'm not. Look, I have.
Hold on. Go ahead and finish, Game Changer.
Right quick. Black Root. So what's happening now is they set out to use feminism to leverage black men into a better deal, into making them more off shirt, making them more successful, basically to get them better husbands. They attempted to use feminism to do that. And it didn't work, and now they're blaming black men. So yeah, in many instances, they will go as far as to quote unquote swirl to, leverage black men. And that's why they kind of grabbed a white guy they're with a little bit tighter, when he's there. And it's like, okay, you're with a Homer Simpson dude that makes less than you. You're not really getting my goat. But
I told y'all the Target story, Game Changer.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm pretty sure I haven't heard it, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar. We've all seen it. Different states, different regions. We've all seen these women who are deliberately. Can you be more obvious? We know what you're doing, why you're doing it. You're not going to get my goat, but he's going to get your cat. So hey,
if it ain't the squeeze tighter, she gives you that little up and down look, like the nigga, I got Brad look.
I just don't think it's exclusive to black women. I think they're just the worst and in your face about it. That's the only argument I'll make. I think a lot of women y'all think are safe. These non-black women that are not white, also women, quote unquote, women of color, they're on the same shit. They're just not in your face about it as much as black women.
But the thing is, people have these conversations like you're telling us something that we're already out here. We know what these other women are like. So it's not like you have to warn us brothers. Well, we know what the other women are like. They're better. All right. The fuckery is just less. It's more peaceful. No matter how we can play you guys just think, no. A lot of us have experience being in
your sons and grandsons will feel it then, because those women are going to be just like black women in a generation or two.
So what?
So that
means you're not going to shame us.
That's the point. I'm not trying to shame you, brother. I'm not trying to shame you.
For the sake of my grandchildren, we're done with that for the community argument. Just do it for the community.
You're done with that.
What?
No, I'm saying you're done with that. You said we're done with that. I said no, you're done with that.
No. You said you put out a warning, a sticker label, basically said, "Hey, you guys talking about black women? These other women ain't no cakewalk either." We've heard you guys go blue pill for other women. We've heard all those little quips. That's not a new argument. The truth is, other women are simply better. Period. It's all these little quips and how they work, and they're simply better. However you slice it.
You said period. That's not a finished statement. You said period because that's what you believe.
Here's the thing. Not the only. I'm not. The black community is destroyed. I'm telling you why. It's already over. So you saying what
All right.
I'm saying?
I think
Silent.
I
I understand your perspective, and where you're at.
Silent.
Silent.
I hear where you're coming from, brother. But there are black communities that are not destroyed, whether they be middle class, upper middle class, and there are kids, our people
speaking absolutes
that are going to be incredible in the future because they're doing innovative things, and there's programs out there where our kids, our people, are preparing themselves for the future. I think what we do too often is that we take the minimum and make it the maximum, and we take the maximum and we minimize it, and we say, well, this is what the black community is when we're in a big ass country, and there's various different black communities. There's socioeconomically low economically black communities that do reflect some of the bad things that we would rather not see. But look, I want the young brother in the middle here was saying something about black women in fantasy. Remember how black women got so excited over Meghan Markle because she was living the fairy tale that they want to live themselves.
The
right?
white
She
prince,
married
literally.
a white man of a royal family, which gives her what? Great value for the buck, right? Everything. And now she comes back to America after being with the man for a while, and she's saying they're racist towards me, they're this and that, and she comes right on back to America after the fairy tale becomes a nightmare for her personally. And you notice black women did not criticize her and say, why is she marrying that white boy? But if let's say a black man married a white female, for example, who was a princess or queen, how would black women look at that black man that marries into a royal family versus a black woman or a biracial black woman, whatever we want to slice it as?
Super sellout simp.
Yeah, they'd throw something at them if they could.
Yeah, they would.
but that's
tomatoes.
We have to,
I mean, young Thug. What's the rapper? He just married his wife, right? The Asian chick that he's with, right? Didn't they just get married?
You talking about Jeezy? I think
Jeezy. I'm sorry.
Jeezy.
Put some respect on his name. Yeah, I wonder what black women think of him marrying her because I think they just tied the knot.
No, they're livid. I've read the comments. They're heated.
Yeah, he'll sell out. He'll sell out now.
Well, even when she said that she mentioned that she wanted to submit to him, she was talking about them getting married. She said, I do want to submit to my husband when we get married or everything. Yeah, black women. Yeah, they had something to say about that. They had something to say about that. Even the ones right there. Yeah, even the ones right there on the show live when she said it. The good old Lonnie Love who was just looking like she just blew a gasket. She was just dying on the inside.
Yeah, but who in the hell wants Lonnie Love anyway, Bernard? Other than her money, do you want to lay up in the bed with her? Hell no.
Well, I think Bernard brought that up because that's the product that we're talking about. Look at the difference.
Well, one time I don't think Love at Target, and she was hugged up to her white boyfriend, trying to make me jealous. So yeah.
But I don't think any black man, at least I haven't heard of one black man that complained that Lonnie Love is being taken off the market by that guy. I haven't heard one black man complain about that.
Because we don't want her.
Right. I don't even want that narrative out there. But I'm gonna say this. I always push that men have to be leaders, protectors, and providers. But I also push that if a woman is not going to follow your lead, then you just ignore it at the end of the day. She don't matter. She doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? I've even said, and it upsets some women. So I think it was the right thing to say, just because I see how it upsets somebody. That men, we have to start looking at the black community as our community, and we have to determine who belongs to us and who does not. Because we as men, we will ostracize you in a heartbeat. So at the end of the day, if you're a child of a man, sure, you belong to the black community. If you're a wife of a man, sure, you belong to the black community. But as a single woman, you need to have some man vouch for you, because black women's character is a huge problem in our community. And if we don't like them, and we don't like how they operate, we don't like how they act, we don't like the fact that they participate in white supremacy, which don't shock me because they are white supremacists for the most part. And I think men just got to accept that. We got to start looking at the black community different. This is our community, and we need to be determined who's involved and who's not.
Roger. Now let's play this concept out some. Okay, so you're a husband and you have your wife and you have children, and in the same area or the same block, and you participate in social functions, and you coach the pony football league or little league baseball or whatever, do you not allow the son of a single mother onto the team that you're coaching?
Damn.
No, that would be fine because that's a child. You know what I'm saying? We can look at children.
Yeah, but that child comes from that woman.
Yeah, and the child has
if
to
that
suffer
woman
with
is excluded, and if that woman is not a part of that community, then how can that child be involved in a community? Her child be involved.
Man, I coach kids in basketball, man. If we didn't let kids from single mamas play, we'd be doing a 2-on-2 half court.
Of course that's true. Of course that's true. I'm trying to visualize how do you actually have a community based on Black men in which they're able to enforce some kind of criteria upon women, such that they would in some way be punished by way of not following the lead of men.
All right, hold your thought on that real quick. New York Yankee, thank you for that super chat. Harambe says, so are we saying Black women are actually good women now? I give you 10%, but it's more now. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Go ahead and answer that question. By the way, something sounded funny, but I was joking with that 2-on-2 thing, even though there's more fathers involved than what I expected when I started coaching some 10-12 years ago. It's been more fathers involved than what I expected. Now the mom and the dad are not always together. There's some married couples where they still together. Sometimes you may see the dad there by himself, and then later I find out, that's the mama over there. They sitting separate, but the dads are involved. It's just that the breakup was seemingly a long time ago. They sitting in separate parts of the gym during the game. But
Mr.
anyway,
Bernard,
I'll answer.
Can we address that a lot of the Black community has adopted a lot of anti-Black talking points? There's a reason why I'm bringing that up. I'm not really trying to do the race thing today, but because you look at what you just said, you believe that it was different before until you started coaching, and then you see the fathers there, right? Because like I said earlier, a lot of what we're going through in the Black community is in everybody's face, right? So our breakups are the fact that we're not seeing eye to eye is in everybody's face because we're not together. And so those things get marked down as a single parent situation, where these other communities, they're sleeping in different rooms. They might not even be sleeping in the same house, but they're married on paper. And so we think everything is all right. You'll find out as a coach go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. To speak to what you're saying about the perception versus the reality that's out there, I just recently listened to a stream. A woman was on the stream, had nearly 1,000 people listening, and she was literally talking about the out of wedlock birth rate of the close to 80% out of wedlock birth rate. That's literally how many fathers have abandoned their children and have no relationship with them. So that's the perception. That's how people talk about it.
Exactly.
Now it's true that there's a separation, and that separation isn't good. Black men over there, Black women are over there with the kids. The Black man still, in more cases than what we acknowledge, has contact and some access to the children. Granted, sometimes there's a system in between it, but we ain't about to. Let's not even go down.
Don't even go down that
route, right? Either way, hold on. Game Changer was trying to jump in and say something, but yes, I did have the similar perception that the woman that I just mentioned had, is that yes, that 80% out of wedlock birth rate. It was at one moment in my early to mid 20s when I started coaching that I had that same perception that that's how many kids were just growing up without a father, not just not in the home, but just not involved. That was my perception at one point. So, but go ahead, Game Changer. You was trying to say something.
Okay, so I want to respond to Harambe, where he says, so we're saying Black women are actually good women now. I give you 10%, but it's more now. Okay, so it's weighed heavily. It's probably the same number that you predicted before, but it's weighed heavily amongst the youth. You see, the thing is that, and this is no offense to Black Guru and others, but the boomers are still alive. And there are a lot of Black women past 50 who are single because of her choices in her 20s. She accepted the feminism, she bit the apple. And that counts to a large portion of the bad women. The boomers was a huge generation. That's why they call it that, So yeah, there are a lot of women who simply won't value marriage at any point in their life because they can't. It's all they have. If they were to say marriage is a valuable thing, then they would be saying that I have lived a life that was denied a very valuable thing. So, however, the younger women they have their own set of problems, but yeah, they do value marriage more at a base. Perhaps not as much as the generation previous to the boomers, but they do have a higher value of marriage than the next generation. Also, they believe in the man's potential generally more than previous generations. So yeah,
I think you're misquoting or misstating the generation. I mean, most of the people been born as boomers are either dead or have long since aged out of the mating market overall. I think you're referring maybe more to Gen Xers, actually, in terms of a more accurate depiction of what
let me correct.
But Roger never got a chance to answer the question I asked him with respect to how do Black men actually effectively run a community.
So right quick, a person who was born at the latest 1965 would be 55 right now, alive. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could.
But you're talking about the youngest boomers. The oldest boomers were born 20 years prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, so 1975 or 75 years.
So you're talking about somebody who's almost 80 years old. I mean,
we're talking about somebody between the age of 55 and 75. So
no, my whole point is you're talking about boomers as if boomers aren't really women aren't a factor at all in this. The biggest problem in terms of what you're describing in terms of the phenomenon involving women are Gen Xers. That's where the real problem is because they're the ones who are actually still young enough. They're the ones that are actually still young enough to be factors in the mating market.
No, that's problematic too. Like a lot of Gen Xers, and we see them here in this sector of YouTube, are spewing the talking points of.
Those Kevin Samuels.
Hold on, bro, Uru. Like I let him finish, Uru.
They are continuing and perpetuating the talking points of the books, movies, et cetera, the entire entertainment industry that the boomers have created for them. So yeah, they are continuing a chain, and they're old too. So yeah, they are problematic as well. And a 55-year-old woman, a 55 to 70-year-old woman, who is grandstanding, saying, what was that? These men are just trifling. They're trifling. They're problematic as well. But yeah, absent that, I think that the women of Generation Z and millennials would do a lot better.
Okay, well, I want to say that, first of all, to Harambe, I wouldn't argue that most Black women are good people. I honestly think it's somewhere between 15 and 20% that you can say are somewhere between good and great. The rest of them are white supremacists, and I can't see a white supremacist as a good person. Okay. Now, when it comes to what Black Uru was saying, at the end of the day, when it comes to men and what we do, we get to make sanctions any way we see fit. So if a woman wants her child to participate and she's a single mother, okay. Now, the thing is, she can send her kid down to a place, and I've seen it where women have done this, and then the kid acts a way that's disruptive according to whatever they're doing. Okay. When the people who are running the place, whether it be a coach, whether it be some type of mentor, whether it's a teacher, whatever the program is, women will have a problem with what the person in charge is saying or doing with the child. Okay, if you got a problem with, the answer is get your kid and don't ever show back up here again. That's the problem. We exclude them at the end of the day. Now that child may have to suffer because of what their mama did.
Okay.
That child got to take that up with God. God gave you that.
Brother Roger, I want to ask you a question, because a lot of times we generalize on these social medias. Have you personally either coached or worked in a community where you dealt with kids? Because I have personally over the years, where you've had mothers that were combative from the instruction that you are trying to provide to their child. Because this has been my experience that there are women out there who do want that instruction for their kid because they don't have a father. And then, of course, you're going to have a percentage of women who may be combative because that's just the way they've been for whatever the reasons are. But what has been your experience with that? Because a lot of times when we talk about these things, my question is, what is the experience when we generalize like that?
No, I totally understand. And yes, I have been. And my thing is the child who comes there and is going to act right, and the mother has them there for that purpose. That woman is not going to give the program, whatever program you want. She ain't going to make a problem for the program.
Right.
It's the woman that wants her child to be able to do whatever they want to do and not follow instructions. It turns into a problem for the program. Exclude that kid. I'm not saying we take it out on all the children.
Right.
Now, that kid, yes, they're going to suffer, but life isn't fair. I've already accepted that life ain't fair. At the end of the day, you got to take that up with your mama, shawty. Now, I understand you may not be able to get that resolved for years because you're a child and she's an adult, but that is honestly going to be your problem. I don't have a solution for that particular problem because I'm not your daddy. And at the end of the day, I can't save you. I can't save everybody, nor will I ever try to. That child gonna have to deal with whatever they mama made them suffer through. And when they become an adult, they're gonna have to get that resolved as best they can. But for the sake of the community, for the sake of those who want to do right, for the sake of those who want to go in the better situation or in the right direction, we got to exclude you. Either mama gonna change or you just stay excluded. It don't make me no other man which one happens.
Right.
I wanted to address Game Changer and Black Guru real quick.
Shout out to O'Shea real quick. Says Manosphere 2.0 in the building. Shout out to O'Shea. Appreciate the super chat. Go ahead, Mr. Z.
Okay, so I wanted to address the conversation Black Uru and Game Changer were having by saying I get where Game Changer's going with the millennial and Gen Z maybe valuing marriage more, but the data shows us that marriage is at a 150-year low, and millennials who are 40 and under, I think the oldest millennial is 40 right now, or maybe 41, but let's say 40, we're not getting married. And we're not even having kids, really, honestly. And if you look at the data, I said this to Bernard before, some of us ain't even having sex like that either. So, under 40, we're not getting married. So we might value marriage more. We can have a different conversation about why we're not getting married. But if you're correct and we value marriage more, I would want to know why we're not getting married as much and why marriage in America is at a 150-year low, and especially concentrated for millennials. And I think the oldest Gen Z is maybe 23, 24 right now. So they're starting to come up on marriage age also for many of them. Well, for the oldest ones, and they're not even looking to get married anytime soon either. So I would want to know from the panel, why do y'all think that is?
Okay, good question. So the value is still there, and as a millennial, I'm pretty sure that you're acutely aware of that. It's like, okay, I know that I want this, but how come I can't get it? And that's because the avenues that created a system to allow marriage to happen, because it's not a natural thing. If we were hunter-gatherers still, we wouldn't be getting married. It's not just part of a human makeup, this institution. It takes a systemic culture in order to allow this to happen. That culture is gone.
I agree.
However, your the desire for the stability that marriage breeds is still there, and it's alive in your generation. And the previous generation, the ones who should do it, just didn't do that for you. And I'm including my generation to a lesser extent. So that's kind of why you find yourself in this situation. Like, you want something that you can't have. And that's what women are really lashing out about, because for one, their parents and grandparents told them not to want this thing, that you don't need it. You just need to focus on your education. And now the millennials are coming out like, wait a minute, this is a lie. I really do want, love, marriage, and a baby carriage.
I agree.
But how do I get it? Now, if this was 100 years ago, the how do I get it would be your father arranged it, or, you pick the guy that's out there and, he's 14 and you're 12, let's get married, or, you just go to your local church and you find the boy that's making googly eyes at you, and he asks your father, can I sleep with her with a sack sold to her? Like it's so they had institutions in place to assure that marriage happens. Now we have the exact opposite. We have institutions in place to assure that it doesn't happen. And it sucks.
Game changer. Can I give you the word?
It's our
environment. Environment.
What is happening in?
Wait, hold on. We haven't heard from Info Man in a while. Go ahead, Information Man.
I haven't heard from Silent in a while either. But
hey, you can interject. I mean, you can jump in.
But Silent, you living up your name.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Info Man.
I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna get ready to get off. But I just want to say we have to also take into account the changes in the environment. Like I said earlier, we're getting to a point where we don't know what a man is anymore, a woman is. We've got people, we got the intersectionality that's out there, which is really changing the game as to what is marriage. But we're talking about what is marriage, but what is it to be a man or a woman or any of these things, right? So that's adding another layer of confusion to the system. Then we have to also take into account economics, that the millennials have actually have inherited a shitty economic situation in which the generations that came before them, baby boomers, didn't leave shit to Gen Xers like myself and Gen Xers who have produced millennials. We haven't left anything of stability to millennials. So it's like a domino effect, and millennials are running around saying, well, I was told that if I go to school, just like Game Changer said, and I do A, B, and C, that's the formula to success with all this marriage and everything like that. And everything is twisted in our society with all this other these other lifestyles that has changed the game. We got kids right now. I think I was watching a Good Morning Great Britain or something. They said they got about 70% of a lot of their kids in the schools in Great Britain, male and females that are in their school systems, that are talking about, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl. Wow. They're into this binary stuff. So this is not only affecting America, but this is becoming a global change. And this shit is weird. So, hey, Brother Bernard, thank you for letting me come on board with you and everybody on the panel. Peace and respect to you all. I'm going to get off and listen in the back chat. Man, y'all take care, man.
All right. Thanks,
man. But that information, man. No, I agree with information.
This intersectionality, man, is messing some shit up, man. Watch out. It's scary shit.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming up, Info Man. Hold on. Let's go see Silent. Go ahead, Silent. You got the mic.
I just think it's a little bit more simple than that. We ask why millennials are not getting married, and we understand it's the men who ask for marriage. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it doesn't help that these men have been looking down the barrel of their counterparts' booty crack, since they were in junior high school on camera. That kind of makes women not special anymore. I mean, we're growing up in the porn generation. Me and Bernard generation, we had to, find a room to sneak into to put in the VHS tape. All right. These kids got vagina on tap. By the time these kids are 18, 19 years old, they have been exposed to so much naked women. It ain't special anymore. The truth is, the reason why we're not getting married is because girls just want to have fun. How many times? Again, most of the time, it's the naive 20-year-old guy who falls in love for the girl he wants, and he wants to make a thing. She wants to do what she wants to do. Again, it's more. We've already had these discussions. It's more men than women who want to get married. We know this. It's the women. They're the ones telling you, why do I want to get married in my 20s? They're the ones telling you they want to have fun. It's the men asking. So basically, it's backwards as fuck. Because this conversation is really started by women saying, where have all the men went? We have all of these biblical conversations. And then we come to the conclusion is it's you all who don't want to get married. I bring you to your nearest example of Kevin Samuel's show. They will call him asking why they're having the problem. And then at the end of the conversation, they're telling him they don't have a problem. Well, if you didn't have a problem, you called me saying you have a problem. I'm telling you why you're having a problem. Now you're into the conversation with, no, I don't have a problem. Everything's perfect. How does this shit fucking make sense? The truth is, if women now see what their sexual showing their goodies will get them, Everyone's looking for cash and prizes. We live in a now generation. All right, nobody's working for that shit. Vagina is $40. All right, like, come on, like, it's really not that complicated. I mean, intersexuality, all that, but at the end of the day, you also have a group of millennials who have watched their boomer parents do nothing but get divorced. I mean, look at all the TV shows that were on. Every show became about broken families because white kids in the suburbs started, facing divorces. That's where you guys were talking about latchkey kids. That's where that shit came from. From the suburban white kids, having their homes and families broken up. So now a white mom is sitting kid in front of the TV because she got to go to work. The truth is, it's women got the environment they wanted. It was the men who, was doing the Will Smith, Martin Lawrence with the gun by the hip when she brought the nigga over to ask her out. It's women who said they didn't want that anymore. It's women who said, I want to fuck who I want to. I don't want daddy to tell me who I can fuck. Like, we keep having these conversations, but it's because women don't want to get married. They want to have fun. And then they also want that fallback plan. They still want that high value plan at the end. They want it both. Like, I mean, just because it's insane don't mean that ain't what they want. I mean, it's really that simple. And we see, again, now that the environment is changing and getting harder, the women are coming back to the table. I mean, we know that what? Red pill, right? Solipsism. People gonna do what's in their own best interest. It's not in her best interest to get married to you lame niggas. And, I'm a lame nigga too, all of us. It's in her best interest to sell that monkey until she can't sell it no more. And then it's in her best interest to get one of you suckers to come pick up the pieces. If she can get that to happen, that's what she wants. If I can go into a bank, rob it, stuff my pockets, and walk home without anybody stopping me, that's what I would do.
Okay, well, I want to say something, but I want you to go ahead and get your money first. All right.
Okay.
Snuggles 668 in the building with the super chat. He says, "Can men on the chat and panel answer what is it to be a man, and can
great question.
Can a woman in the chat answer what it is to be a woman?" Well, when I pass it to Roger Report, I guess you can answer that and you can respond to whatever you was about to say prior to that. But Charles Merchant says she's being rewarded for taking on perversity as normal. This is why she is her own demographic, separate from you, black man. Thank you for the super chat, Charles Merchant and Snuggles. Appreciate y'all. Go ahead, Roger Report. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Okay, well, I already said manhood comes from character and accomplishment. Now, a lot of men who were raised by single mothers don't necessarily like that because that means your accomplishment has to be examined. If you want to say you're better than some other man, and in a certain sense, we're all God's children. We're all on an equal level, but there's another sense. When it comes to what you've done in the world, your accomplishment does mean something. People recognize certain status, and a lot of times we do it way too much because we've been taught to be also involved in the celebrity culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I use Michael Jordan as an example a lot because, he played for Chicago. To me, he's just a regular man. Now, when it comes to a breakdown of what he's been able to accomplish, I cannot say I'm on his same level because he's accomplished far more than I was able to do. And it doesn't make a difference how he got it done. The fact that he was an athlete, played in the NBA, and at the end of the day, he still got it done. And we need to learn how to respect people's accomplishment, period. But the problem in the community is a lot of men have not been taught to value their leadership. We have women doing these certain things, and they're able to get away with a lot of stuff because men don't value their leadership. When you being a man and how many people you lead has nothing. How many people follow you has nothing to do with you as a leader, and that's what a lot of people don't get. You know what I'm saying? Now you use the example of Jesus. Jesus only had 12 disciples. Sure, he had some people that was following him, but he only had 12 disciples. And one of those disciples was a traitor at the end of the day who sold him out and got him killed. So how, you know what I'm saying? Now, he was a perfect man, yet he only led so many. The whole world did not just back him just because he was doing everything right. Because the story is he's never done anything wrong to anybody. Yet the whole world did not embrace him, period. So a lot of people think you being a leader has something to do with how many people that follow you. And that's a person who doesn't understand leadership. Now, men in the Black community don't value their leadership, and I get it because a lot of women haven't told them to. Just like I was saying earlier about the little kid who comes, but the mama wants to come to the program and create a problem. Well, you know what? I value my leadership. Therefore, your son can't come no more. Why? Because my leadership comes at a cost, and I don't have to argue with nobody's mama. Your mama just put you in a position where you can't receive my leadership as a child. Is that fair to the child? No, but the world ain't fair. He can take that up with his mama. If you got a bigger problem, take it up with God. God gave him that mama. Y'all got to figure that out on your own. And as a leader, you got to be okay with leaving people behind. And when it comes to these to women in a certain situation, men just got to be okay with them dying. You know what I'm saying? Let them work to the day that they die. Let them fall off the cliff. Let them suffer. It's not your problem and it's not your fault. You offer women a certain thing. If they rejected it, that's on them at the end of the day. And in a society where we bring the world to women while men have to go out and get the world, because that's the society we live in. A woman can just be sitting somewhere and a man will approach her and offer her things. You offer her on a date. You offer her a marriage. You offer her to take care of her for the rest of her life. Women get the world offered to them. We got to go get the world. You know what I'm saying? Rarely is a woman going to come to a man and say, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. Even the homosexuals can get away with it for a time, but women usually throw a homosexual away once she's had enough of them. She'll deal with him for a time frame, but she will throw him away at the end of the day, and he'll pretty much leave the same way he came. Women,
and all game changer once an exchange is a sandwich.
Yeah. So women get women get off of the world because men don't value their leadership. They accept certain things that they shouldn't accept. You can't measure me based on no woman. I never brag about women because women are not a measuring stick to accomplishment. That's why I don't brag about women. And it'll be hard to get me to brag about women because they don't qualify for accomplishment. They're just women at the end of the day. Now, women chose to go out and start working and do the same thing that men do. Am I mad at them for doing it? No, I just don't care if they are doing it. But you can't be masculine and expect me as a man that wants a feminine woman to approach you. It just is what it is. You got to somehow keep your femininity intact so a man is going to be attracted to your femininity. If you can't get that figured out as a woman, that's your fault once you hit 18. Your parents were supposed to teach you that. But if you didn't get it, once you became 18 years old, you were supposed to go figure that out on your own. And if you couldn't get it done, that's on you at the end of the day. Every failure I have, go ahead.
Them working specifically was antithetical to being feminine. I mean, again, I actually listen to people when they talk. And when you hear these ladies get on shows, they get on the internet, when they describe it, her working to make her own money is so she don't have to listen to you. That's the whole purpose. When she needs your money, when she got a man in the house and all of that, that means she can't just do fuck all. So now if I go make my own money, this is why when you hear them call Kevin Samuels show, and even though they talk about this man that makes, he's an $8 million man a year, and they bring their little $30,000. Why do they say it? They all say the same thing. I want to keep a semblance of myself, but they always speak in vague terms. What does that really mean? What that really means is I want the ability to keep one fucking foot out the door just in case I decide I don't like what this nigga's talking about. I can get the fuck out if I want to.
Peel off.
That's what keeping a semblance of myself means. Okay, my own money gives me the freedom to pop fucking smoke as soon as I decide at any given moment I don't want to be under this nigga's leadership. And by the way, I know I can still take half his shit. Okay,
exactly.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm at the point where
we're looking for an alternative to marriage and an escape plan and basically a way to leverage a better deal out of the men.
Well, my thing is, if we value our leadership, I get what they're doing. My answer is, so what? I you know what I'm saying? That's why I say, if we want
I don't give
people
a fuck. I'm just describing it for sure.
No, I'm not even trying to imply that you do. But that's why I promote that if you 30 years old and an unmarried woman, you a loser. Why? Because your value is your youth, your beauty, your ability to give a man a family. He's supposed to take on taking care of you and being responsible for you for life. The companionship that women want when they're older. Yes, I'll give you that companionship because you had my kids. You was there with me while I had to build this life up, regardless of how much a person accomplished, whether he the garbage man or he the owner of a Fortune 500 company. Regardless of whatever he was able to do, you was with me while I got it done. So therefore, I will give you whatever it is that I was able to accomplish. If a woman doesn't want to be there while I'm trying to accomplish these different things, my thing is that's absolutely fine, but you're not my problem. Any woman that is not under your leadership should not be able to get provision or protection from you as a man.
So
and you give it to them without the leadership is charity, and you give charity where you see fit.
All right, real quick. Snuggle 668 in the building with super chat. He says, "If you all," I don't think all on the panel said it, but because I think one person answered real quick and everybody else just exercised their right to remain silent. But assuming here, if you all say a woman cannot think for themselves, I think they can think for themselves. They just don't think well and make good decisions with their thinking. But they thinking for themselves. But anyway, why do you allow women to do what they want? It's a free country. They can do what they want. They got their own life, liberty, pursuit of happiness to make their own bad decisions. Why do you allow women to do what they want when they want and how they want? I am talking generally.
I'll answer that if I may. Piers, I wanted to address something real quick before you do that. And it's going to the topic at hand, the title at hand. If we're talking about oppression and we're talking about where women are and what they want and all this little dance they've been doing and having one foot out the door while being married, then what does oppression look like to women in the 21st century? If they still we're not in 1940 anymore, right? So they have jobs, they can do what they want.
Like Bernard just said.
Well,
go ahead.
Because you posed the question while an existing question was unanswered, brother.
I got his answer though when he's ready for a game changer. I got that answer ready.
All right, go ahead, game changer.
Okay, so to answer the super chat question, basically society, because a group of people isn't really capable of thinking for themselves, they want to empower that group of people so that they can control them. Basically, women are a easily controlled group. You show a bunch of beautiful women wearing a purple ribbon, and all of them will wear a purple ribbon. You show a bunch of women voting Democrat, and all of them will vote Democrat. You show a bunch of women purchasing pink cars, and all of them will purchase pink cars, more so than men. So because they are so easily influenced by the strongest voice in the room and they have the microphone, they're going to empower them. They're going to give them the right to vote because they know that you will vote for them. They're going to give them money because they know that you'll spend it on shoes that cost $900. Why wouldn't they empower a group of people that they can easily control?
Well, you know what? I'm going to say a little bit different because my thing is I didn't even hear anybody actually say that women can't think for themselves. I recognize the fact that women can think for themselves.
They can.
And my thing is I'm going to hold you accountable to how you've been thinking. How you move in life has something to do with the way you've been thinking. When you get to a certain point where everything goes downhill, which is pretty much the age of 36, that's why I say that's when you're a UOF. And the only way to accomplish being a UOF is that since you've been 18 to 36 years old, you done denied every good man that wanted to do something for you. That's why you're unmarried, old, and effeminate. You see what I'm saying? What you being unmarried, old, and effeminate is proof that you denied every good brother that was trying to do something for you. You can't say I'm attractive and people try to talk to me, but only the losers talk to me, and that be true. Only the homeless came and talked to me. Only the men that was doing no good came and talked to you. When you're an attractive woman, you attract different men, period. You chose what you wanted. If you didn't get what you wanted, it's because you didn't value a good brother when the good brother was trying to holler at you, because he made his attempt.
And then if I could, I'd like to answer your question. Who was that posed that question too, brother? What was it?
Mr. Z. Mr. Z, go ahead.
Mr. Z. So, you know me, I try to oversimplify it because I think most people are pretty basic. They just try to overcomplicate their basic animalistic needs. But again, I listen. What oppression looks like to them is denying them their sexual depravity. All of this to them is about sex. when you listen to them speak and they talk about oppression, when you let them speak long enough, they always get to the part of how men can have sex, but they can't. They are simply trying to now legitimize the whoredom. So essentially they're trying to eliminate that stigma of the whoredom, right? So the oppression is simply calling whores whores. Because if you call whores whores, then they can't get a nigga with money. You understand? Because really that's the end goal. The end goal is to hit the lotto ticket. But men with money don't want whores. But if you legitimize and normalize whores, then they can get back to their end result. They're mad that you're calling it out. It's really very simple. The liberation was about sex and fucking who they want. Them going to work was about getting their own money so they can fuck who they want. The equality argument is simply about fucking who they want and still be able to get men to use at the end. That's really all this conversation is about. For them, is sexual depravity. All of the restraints that they feel that they have is on their sexuality. They don't feel like they can be real women unless they can have hot girl summer. Okay? What did my man Patrice O'Neal say in the old joke? All right? He asked a woman in the crowd, if you took away your vagina, what else do you have to offer? And she said her mouth. And Patrice said, I gave you every opportunity to express your value, and you solidified yourself as a series of holes. Okay? Every other culture, there is a reason why they put hoods on their heads. There's a reason why every culture has essentially put a chain link since the dawn of time on a woman's sexuality. Because at the end of the day, when a woman's sexuality is unchecked, it kills the civilization. And wise societies knew that. But we can't make women upset. So we'd rather kill our society than to piss off women. So, I mean, simple.
So let me refashion a question I asked earlier then.
Well, hold on, hold your thought on that question. But definitely good stuff, Silent. Like the way I put that, well, I got it from Brother Xavier. He said it first, so I'll shout him out. Where you was basically explaining how they ultimately just want protection from criticism. That's really what it all comes down to. They don't want to be criticized for anything. But E. Capone in the building with a super chat, he says that's how you know Jesus is a brother. He was referring to the 12 disciples, and one of them backstabbed him. I think that's what he was referring to, something that the Roger Report was saying. And the Swooviest is in the building with a super chat. He says, I agree with Game Changer. Black women were earning these degrees and earning jobs, turning around, bringing it home to black men. They would put a halt to that shit quick. I don't know about that one, but shout out to the Swooviest. Shout out to you. Recently joined the Wrench Squad. Shout out to you. Black men being brutally honest says, shout out to the Roger Report and Bernard Riley. Long live the habitual line steppers. Go ahead. Who was that? Was that Mr. Z?
Yes, it was, Bernard. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Was that a good answer for you, brother?
No, that was. We start off on a bad foot, but no, but I'm Silent. I hear you all the time, brother, and I agree
listen,
with you on a lot.
I am an asshole, but I ain't a dick, bro. I'm a consistent motherfucker.
I don't know. I think you would rather be a dick than an asshole. I don't know. You sure you want to go with that first?
I'm the same dude. I just keep it 100, man. I don't give a fuck, and I keep it 100. But I ain't a bad dude. I'm just I just try to keep it 100, bro.
All right, the question is, let me refashion a question I asked earlier. So, are women, black women in specific, are they fighting for the position that men occupy in their imagination? We're these people that we can have sex with whoever we want. We're always super confident. Because women get to see you after you build yourself up for successful men. They get to see the machismo. They get to see the accomplishment, the accolades. They get to see all of that, right? And they get to see a quote unquote sex god. I think what they think we are is what they're trying to achieve. They really don't know the average dude. We're speaking about Kevin Samuels. That's the whole thing with the 6-figure shit, right? I don't want to deal with average or normal and have to deal with average and normal problems. I want the extravagant life, and I want to be seen on his arm. I want to be seen in the passenger side of the drop head Rolls Royce. I want to be seen in the passenger side of the Ferrari, right? They don't actually want to drive the Ferrari. Well, unless they're the power hungry women. They want to be seen as being coveted by a man of means. So once again, are we saying that they want to occupy the position that they think we have in their imagination? That's the question I'm asking.
Well, they definitely want to be seen in the passenger side of the Ferrari. I mean, that
They just want reward without work. And when you
Yep,
have a
I
society
agree.
where men
hmm
accomplish things, a woman has to make certain sacrifices to be with that man that's going to accomplish something. You know what I'm saying? Like using the example of Michael Jordan. Yeah, they see him playing in the games, they see him high flying, dunking, and all that type of stuff. But you wasn't there when he was at practice. See what I'm saying? Juanita Jordan started off as a good woman because she was there while he was you know what I'm saying? Whoever he was dealing with at the time, when you're becoming the legend, she's there. That's why she matters. I'll say, and this is what black women have an issue doing. They got an issue being like Vanessa Bryant. Vanessa was there when Kobe was becoming a legend. She wasn't trying to get him after he already became a legend. Black women want a man who's already a legend. And I'm not mad at you for wanting the dude that is the legend.
and let me piggyback you real quick, Roger, because remember he was trying to get at Brandy and she called him corny. Remember that? That was a big deal.
Yeah.
With high school, Kobe took Brandy to the prom.
Absolutely. And that's already
Roger.
talking at extreme levels. Go ahead,
Roger,
Michael.
Juanita dated Reggie Theus before MJ even got to town. Juanita was that kind of girl. She was that kind of girl.
What I was just going to say that, and see, that's talking that stuff at an extreme level. Because even getting to 6 figures a year, you're already elite when it comes to what people make financially in this country. Black women don't want to be with the man that's working his way to earn something like that. They don't even want to be with the man who's working his way to earn $50,000. They just want you to already have it in place, then come in, and they want to relax when they get there. Because if you hear their talking points, everything is about them relaxing. They don't want to work. They don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They want to be able to afford a maid. They want to be able to afford a driver. They want to be able to afford all type of different things, but there's nothing left for them to do. They even want nannies, so they don't even have to raise the kids. So at the end of the day, they just want to live, and they want somebody else to pay the bill for them to be alive. But you got to pay a big bill because they want to live in luxury. And that's what my thing is.
Basketball wives, my G. Sipping mimosas with their girlfriends on their man's dime, talking shit about him, buying purses, shopping, Instagram, and these people live in a fantasy.
Roger, if you don't mind, and Son, if you don't mind, so we're saying is they don't want to gamble.
Let me say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. When black men start as a collective truly valuing our leadership, regardless on what level you on, when we really value that and we start turning our back on black women with resources, meaning time, effort with them, talking to them, giving them money here and there, when we turn our back and say, you know what, I ain't doing nothing for a woman that I'm not leading. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's and I say you lead at a large level for the woman you personally deal with, you lead at a lower level for other black women of the community. But black men want to serve black women with protection and provision, regardless of how they treat us. I don't have nothing for you if you're not under black men's leadership, period. I don't have nothing for you. It's just that simple. I can literally be standing there and you get hit by a bus. If you were a woman that's cooperative, I'll tell you the bus is coming. But if you're a woman that's argumentative, I'm not going to even tell you the bus is coming. I can watch you get hit and it don't even bother me. When black men get like that, we'll get a much better community.
You almost said the magic a similar statement that Obsidian took a lot of heat for a few years ago. But all right, Oliver the Gray in the building says Roger said it loud. I got nothing for you. Yeah. You went in on that one. You definitely went in on that one.
It's like we be playing with a kid and you'll pretend like you got something in your hand and they'll go to grab it out your hand and you open it, ain't shit there.
Well, my thing is never give them the impression that something's going to be there if they won't get under black men's leadership. Now, I'm not wishing the black woman get hit by the bus, and you can say a proverbial bus. I don't care if it's a real bus or proverbial bus. I don't want them to get hit by the bus, but I don't have the time to care. Yeah, I don't have time to even care that they got hit if they wasn't under black men's leadership. Now,
what was the villain that said the villain or something that said in the movie? He said, "I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either."
No, that was
Yeah,
actually a hero. That was Batman.
That was Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, that
You
was
know,
the most
Paul,
gangster Batman ever got on that. He normally would.
What I'm saying.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. What I was just trying to say, if a woman who was under black men's leadership got hurt, I care. If she wasn't under black men's leadership and she got hurt, I don't. It's that simple to me.
Something that we understand as men, especially as black men, is there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. Even your hard work is not a guarantee that you're going to be successful. There are no guarantees. And I think what we're dealing with right now is women that they don't want to gamble. They don't, and that's, you know, I'm speaking of what Roger was saying. They don't want to gamble on nothing. They want the luxury life, and they want to parachute in after you built up everything and then just land on what you built as a luxurious lifestyle if you get that far, right? But that's one of the issues we're having is you got to be with the dude building the space shuttle. You can't just jump in when they put in the final coat of paint on the space shuttle and be like, look, I put one sticker, I'm good. We built together. Because that's what women want to do, right? They want to brag about building with you and being with you from the beginning when all she did was maybe put a little bit of adhesive on the back of a sticker when you done built the whole damn space shuttle. You know, I that's what I think is one of the issues we're dealing with, and I agree with Roger 100% on that.
Hey,
All
RT
right.
the brand. Yeah, Batman was red pilled as fuck. Superman and his blue pill ass.
All right, Snuggles. I'm gonna pass this to the Roger Report. We're probably about to be wrapping it up pretty soon. But the Snuggles 668 in the building says, Can you explain to me how does patriarchy work in other countries, if you don't mind, or do you not have anything for me? I think he's referring that to you, Roger Report. So hold your thought on that one. Charles Merchant in the building with a super chat. What kind of male protects a sexually depraved female that resists his authority? Thank y'all for the super chats. You can go ahead and answer Snuggles questions and more or less give your final thoughts. This one might be on Patreon. You see the Patreon scrolling down there. A lot of the live shows go straight to Patreon. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing here and you want to hear it all the way from the beginning, hear the one-on-one with me and the Roger Report, you might have to join the Patreon to check that out. One of the moderators dropped a Patreon link in the chat. I'm dropping the link right now to the pre-recorded video I dropped earlier. But Roger Report, you can go ahead and take us home with that.
That wasn't OnlyFans, was it, Bernard?
Thank you for allowing me on today, Bernard.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, I don't got an OnlyFans set up. No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say when it comes to other countries, I'll put it to you like this: I don't claim to know the understandings of any other country because I've never spent 6 months in another country, and I believe unless you're in another country for at least 6 months, you don't know the inner workings of things. And I use the example of just like most folks who've been to Vegas, they think they know Vegas. You have no clue about Vegas. You know about the Strip because that's where you work, and the Strip is just a tourist location.
Oh yeah, real Vegas ain't pretty.
Yeah, so I don't claim to know how other countries operate because I know what's been put on television and things like. I see certain things where it don't add up to what they put on TV. So
Cats
I just
go to
kind of take
Cancun and think they actually went to Mexico.
Right. So I kind of take other people's word on how their country works. But at the end of the day, my thing is this: if you as a black man, if you value your leadership, and because this is my rules, period. Black men are supposed to be leaders, protectors, and providers. Women are supposed to have good character, be good company, and they're supposed to be loyal. I do not feel that I should give protection and provision to women who cannot be good character, cannot have good character toward me, who cannot be good company for me, and who are not loyal to me. High level for the person you in that relationship with, but even on a lower level, you know, if I'm at a job and I'm working with a sister and she knows something needs to change or I need to do something, or I might get fired because I missed this little thing. Well, if she's loyal to me as a black man, she'd be like, "Hey, you missed this little thing. You need to do this because they're gonna be doing an inspection next week." That's showing me loyalty, even though we're not in a sexual relationship together. So all this can be shown whether you're in a relationship or whether you're not in a relationship. If you, as a woman, cannot give me loyalty, good character, and good company, I don't care what happens to you.
And Roger Report, if I could piggyback that, I think that's what brothers meant by when they say I'll only be submissive to my guy. and the argument becomes other men see how you interact with other men in a non-sexual manner, and that is an example, but if they see, the sisters at work letting you fucking get fucked up, and they could, shit like that, men pay attention to that. Go ahead, brother.
Yep. Yeah, and I just want to say, something bad happened to a black woman that's not under black male's leadership is equivalent of something bad happening to a Chinese woman in China. I don't see it. It don't affect me. It ain't my problem. It's not my issue. Sorry that happened to you just from one human to another, but beyond that, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Could I address the question that's up, Bernard?
Yeah, Simon Lazarus says, question for the panel. Do you believe that any focused man can make 100K eventually? Yes, but the caveat there is that all men aren't as focused or don't have... Different men have different skills. Somebody who obviously knocked the math section of the SAT out when they were in high school are going to go to college and do well in math and get a job in engineering, science, technology, math, and STEM. They're going to be more readily able to make 100K than somebody else taking a different route to get it. But there's multiple ways to get it, but everybody's not as skilled, not as talented, or not as focused. But a driven person working hard, staying focused, regardless of what skill set he has, can eventually get there if he's focused. But that's a huge if for some people.
I would give a little bit more nuance to that, though. I mean, I guess if the question is that any, then yes. But the collective truth is, regardless how much most people work, they won't make it.
Damn it, Silent. That's what I was gonna say. You fucking stole my shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to have that kind of within a box, yes. But just the reality of math is, the mass majority of people will never make 100K, regardless of, life sometimes is a matter of timing and luck. There's a lot of shit that goes into this, man. That's why I was more or less when I got to the second part, because he's taking the fact that anybody can do, or the concept that anybody can do it, and then basically extrapolating that forward and saying, therefore, a 32-year-old chick that's ran through, she don't even deserve a middle income dude because he can make more. But then that's where the hard reality comes in. Some guys are going to land in the middle no matter what they do, no matter how hard they work, and some of them just are not that committed. So regular people, average people will end up with average people, and so I wouldn't go that far to say that average.
The reality is
the average don't deserve average. I mean, average deserves average. I'll just say that.
It's true. The reality, Bernard, is the system doesn't allow it. Period. The individual men, yes, potentially. If you, like Bernard said, if you got in at the right time, and like Silent said, like look at the age group of a lot of the guys in tech with social media, right? They're like within 3 to 5 years of each other in age, right? You look at Bill Gates and all those people that started off with big tech in the late 80s, the mid 80s, they're all within 4 to 5 years of each other also. So like Silent said, some of these windows open and close, and that 6-figure thing that a lot of us are harping on right now. Yeah, some of us will work hard, you'll never get to it, but the system just won't allow for men writ large to make 6 figures. 15% of us, but more than that, no.
If every man made 6 figures, 6 figures wouldn't be shit. It would just get readjusted, and then the 6 figures will be the equivalent of 45,000.
And the only reason we're talking about 6 figures is because it's what women want, right? Because mathematically we understand this, but again, we nigga dancing because now the new standard is 6 figures. So now we got to have this new conversation about how many. You know what I mean?
All right, y'all. We got to get up out of here, y'all. Don't just click off the video. Go click on the my pre-recorded video. Watch it. It ain't even just go check it out. Go watch it. Hit the like button. My last one went semi viral. So try to help this one get some views too. I appreciate it. But go ahead and take us home, Roger Report. You got the final words, the final say. Thank you for coming through. This was long overdue. Definitely enjoyed the conversation with you. Go ahead. You got the last words.
Well, I definitely appreciate being here. Appreciate all the panelists that came on. But I'm gonna say this: every black man should attempt to make 6 figures. Why? Yeah. Because even if you don't make it, you'll probably end up in a better position than when you started. So every black man should at least attempt it. The question is, why are you doing it? If you're doing it for women, you're gonna run into problems. If you're doing it for yourself, you're gonna be good to go. Because we as men, we understand if you do end up getting married, you're going to have to take care of a woman. You're going to have to take care of a family. the responsibility is ultimately on you. So the more you have, it just makes your job a little bit easier at the end of the day. It's not even about the woman. It just makes your job a little bit easier. If I cross the 6-figure line, and you know what I'm saying, it's very limited that I'm going to take some woman seriously. Why? Because if I made it to an elite position, and it is elite in America to make 6 figures, and a lot of people ain't thinking about it from that standpoint. So that's almost like making it to the NBA or making it to any type of professional sporting team or making it in music and things like that. If I make it to the elite, do you really think I'm going to treat a woman the same way I was going to treat the woman before I became elite? You know what I'm saying? The value is going to be much different. The woman who wanted to make the sacrifice, because see, there's always some women who sacrifice something when a guy has to work on it for real, meaning you're not involved in anything involving entertainment, sports, entertainment. When you're not in those world, that woman has to sacrifice all those other men that's trying to get up with her while you studying in school. She got to sacrifice all those long hours. You got to work on your job. And then when you move into trying to start your own business, she got to sacrifice a lot, just like the man has to sacrifice a lot. So those two people become equally yoked because they've been pushing it together. But a man who's already made it and the woman wasn't around, she can't have the same value as a woman who built it, who was there when I built it. She's just not gonna have the same value. I'm not saying I'm gonna treat women terrible just because I crossed the line, and I will cross that line. But ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be able to see you as the woman who had all the opportunities. You could have got me before I made it. If you didn't do that, that's on you at the end of the day. That's not my problem. That's your problem.
I'm with that.
Right on. Good stuff. And we got to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming on through.
All right, Bernard, thank you.
Yep. No doubt. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Roger Report. They was dropping his links in the chat earlier. I think they quit on me, but make sure y'all, if y'all not subscribed to Roger Report, make sure y'all hop over there and do that. And with that said, we out of here. Peace. And thanks, Silent, for joining that Patreon. Appreciate you. But we out of here.